Chapter 33. What do you want to say? Bai Minjing's eyes were filled with tears. Seeing this, Bai Xingyuan hurriedly said, Big brother doesn't like Tang Yingjie, and grandpa can't force you to marry. The main thing is that Su Yan's talent and status are not as good as Tang Yingjie's. These are not the problem. The problem is that he has Tang Yi behind him, but the one behind Tang Yi is Shura, and Shura seems to have some conflicts with Zhu Yan. So what? Bai Minjing said angrily, what does the resentment of the older generation have to do with us? The older generation? Bai Xingyan snorted coldly. Now Tao Tianhua is the younger generation, and their style of doing things is tough. They are faintly trying to replace the older generation. Do you think our Bai family belongs to the older generation? Bai Minjing was stunned. The Bai family had risen early and belonged to the older generation. According to Bai Xingyuan's words, Zhu Yan was likely to lead the younger generation to replace the older generation in the future. After all, this was an era where the strong were respected. With enough resources, one could become stronger. If Zhu Yan had such ambition, Bai Minjing's scalp was really numb. The Huaxiao alliance belonged to the world. How could it be controlled by Zhu Yan and his people? The future was chaotic, and no one could see through it. Her grandpa didn't think it was necessary to become enemies with Tao Tianhua because of Su Yan. You have to think about the overall situation. Bai Xingyuan sighed. Bai Minjing was a little confused. She felt that the world was a little strange. The world had changed, and so had people's hearts. At this time, Elder Liang looked at Su Yan with complicated eyes. He immediately patted him on the shoulder and said, only with strength can you have the absolute right to speak. Su Yan, come on. Su Yan nodded, and Tao Tianhua and his people also left. Now people from all the bases were rushing to Huaxia City one after another. There were only a few days before the opening ceremony of Huaxia University. The people around quickly left as if avoiding the plague. They didn't want to get close to Su Yan. Why are you leaving so fast? I won't eat you. Su Yan was speechless. He stretched and said, Old Liang is right. It seems like Tao Tianhua has deep roots in the Huaxia Alliance. I have to be careful in the future. He strolled alone in Huaxia City. The city was very large. People came and went on the streets. It was very lively. Su Yan's heart was as calm as still water. Walking alone on the street, he seemed out of place with the scene here. Suddenly, the communicator rang. After Su Yan answered it, Xia Yang's laughter came through. Brother, I guess you have arrived in Huaxia City now. Thanks to you, I have also been transferred to Huaxia City. Xia Yang talked a lot, then said mysteriously, there's an auction in Huaxia City. Do you want to come and have some fun? Su Yan's eyes lit up. Fortunately, nothing happened. He directly asked for the address and went to the destination. The auction was held in the headquarters of the Underground Business Alliance. The hall was very luxurious and magnificent. There were many practitioners in it. Su Yan looked around and went to the box Xia Yang told him about. When he just walked in, Xia Yang's forthright voice burst out. Two beauties, look, this is my brother Su Yan. He is the core disciple of Huaxia University. Oh, little brother Su Yan, I've heard a lot about you. The two gorgeous women had curvy figures and wore sexy dresses. They let out delicate and numb sounds. Their limpid eyes rippled, and they almost fell into Su Yan's arms. For them, the disciples of Huaxia University were all dragons and phoenixes among men. It was very difficult for them to entertain one of them. They didn't expect that a core disciple would come. The scene changed too quickly, and Su Yan could not withstand it. Seeing that the two wolf-like women were about to execute him on the spot, he hurriedly looked at Xia Yang for help. Ha, look at what you're doing. You scare my brother. Why aren't you leaving? The two beauties left reluctantly. Su Yan took a deep breath and said with a wry smile, Xia Yang, you scared me. I don't want you to relax. I just want to give you a surprise. Xia Yang scratched his head and then said seriously, Su Yan, I've heard about everything, including what happened at the city gate. You are really a man. I'll learn from you in the future. Well, don't make fun of me. Don't you see that I'm alone? Su Yan shrugged. Hearing this, Xia Yang laughed and said, It's nothing. Although I live in a lower class and don't know what the upper class is like, and Huaxia University is a place where geniuses gather, there are very few top-notch resources. But as long as you can step on the geniuses, you are a genius among geniuses. Su Yin smiled helplessly, then frowned and said, "The Underground Business Alliance has an intelligence network." Hearing this, Xiaoyang smiled and said, "Of course. The Underground Business Alliance's intelligence network is top-notch. If you want to know something, you can buy it from the Underground Business Alliance. But there's one thing, we don't trade goods. We trade intelligence. Do you have information on Zhu Yin?" Su Yin narrowed his eyes and asked, "You're making things difficult for me." Xia Yang's eyes widened, and he said in shock, "Who would dare to sell information on the god of war? Also, the Business Alliance wouldn't have information on him." Su Yin was silent for a while, and then continued, "I want to find someone. Can you help me?" "That's not a problem. You just need to tell me the name, and I can use the Business Alliance's resources to help you find her," Xia Yang said confidently. Su Bing Shuang. Su Yin was silent for a while, then raised his eyelids and said. Xia Yang was stunned. She had the same surname as Su Yin. He didn't ask any further. He took out his communicator and contacted the Underground Business Alliance's intelligence network, then told Su Yin to wait for news. Su Yin was uneasy. He didn't even want to look for her, afraid that he would receive bad news. Time passed bit by bit. Su Yin's heart tightened. The auction was very lively. The auction, organized by the Underground Merchant Union, attracted many cultivators. Although this auction was not considered a large-scale auction, there were still many influential people who came. Su Yan's clear eyes looked at the auction hall through the window. Looking at the passing crowd, he couldn't calm down. At this moment, Xia Yang walked over. Seeing Su Yan's expression, he hesitated for a while, then laughed and said, "There really isn't." Hearing this, Su Yin clenched his fist. He felt suffocated. Xia Yang hurriedly said, "This kind of situation is usually not recorded. The Underground Business Alliance can't count all the residents of the Huaxiao Alliance." Su Yin buried his head. Although he was not related to his sister, Su Bingshuang, by blood, when he recalled the lively and cute girl who had been following behind him since they were young, Su Yan's mood was extremely depressed. His breathing was very heavy, while Su Yan's thoughts were running wild. In a private room on the top floor of the auction hall, a woman in a black dress was lazily sitting on a deck chair. Her graceful figure and long, snow-white legs were crossed. Her smooth and delicate hand was holding a bronze wine cup. She looked noble and elegant. Her cheeks were slightly red. Because she had drunk some wine, her eyes rippled. She looked noble and charming. Creak! The door was suddenly pushed open. The woman in the black dress frowned and said in a low voice, "What's the matter?" The person who came in was the manager of the ninth base. His face was apologetic. Miss didn't like to be disturbed. He quickly said, "Someone is asking about the top secret of the Business Alliance." "Who is it?" The woman in the black dress narrowed her eyes. Top secret information was targeted at very important people. There were very few that could be called top secret by the Underground Business Alliance. Even she didn't have the right to know some of them. "Miss, this is the highest level of top secret information. Normally, we would reply to our subordinates with no information." The manager's words made the woman in the black dress tremble. Even she didn't have the right to see such information. Only the person with the highest authority in the Underground Business Alliance had the right to see it. Who was it? It was one of the 3 founders of the Business Alliance. Xia Yang still didn't know that his information had shaken the entire Business Alliance. Everyone was busy, but no one knew what the information was about. "Su Yan, are you okay?" Xia Yang smiled bitterly and said, "Although I don't know who this person is, you don't need to worry too much about it. Our Business Alliance is not omnipotent. When you are strong enough, everything will be fine." Su Yin looked at the auction house with carved beams and painted pillars. It would be great if it was true. What he worried most was that they were gone. "Sorry to keep you waiting. The auction starts now." At this time, a vigorous voice came from the auction house. A middle-aged man was standing on the crystal platform, followed by 2 beautiful girls. The whole auction house became quiet. Su Yin sighed and murmured in his heart, My sister and the others must be safe. I should cheer up. Now the most important task for me is to be strong. I need to have a firm foothold in Huaxia City first. Only then can I have the power to find out everything. Su Yin took a deep breath and looked around the auction house. The first auction item made Su Yin a little surprised. It was a pot of wine, which was made of top-grade jade. When it was taken out, the eyes of the drunkards in the auction house lit up. These drunkards loved wine as much as their life. In the current environment of the earth, all kinds of wine could not be found, not to mention the wine in the auction house. The auctioneer opened the lid carefully. The whole auction house was filled with the intoxicating wine fragrance. Many drunkards swallowed their saliva as if they had seen a peerless beauty. The essence of life appeared in the pot, as if a ball of life was burning. Monkey wine. The auctioneer laughed and said, 30-year-old monkey wine. The starting price is 10 million yuan. My God, it's monkey wine. The whole auction house was shocked. Even Xia Yang took a deep breath. This was one of the most precious wines now. It was very difficult to brew monkey wine. It needed all kinds of precious herbs, not to mention a 30-year-old monkey wine. It must be very expensive. This kind of wine was not only a peerless wine, but also could extract essence from it to strengthen the body. Many people in the auction house began to bid. The monkey wine was valuable. The older it was, the more valuable it was. Some drunkards almost started a fight. The final price reached a terrifying 180 million yuan. Su Yin was stunned. More than 100 million yuan? Was this wine or money? The next auction item is a 300-year-old ginseng. The next item to be auctioned is a pill formula for a peak grade 1 medicinal liquid. There were all kinds of things in the auction house. Su Yin even got a mountain treasure, so he didn't care about ordinary things. However, when the 30th auction item was taken out, Su Yan's heart was filled with joy. The dragon totem woke up on its own and transmitted a burst of heat to his soul. Could it be some kind of unknown treasure? The dragon totem had been very quiet. Su Yin speculated that the dragon totem had intelligence. It was very likely that it had found a dusty treasure. But what shocked him was that the temperature of the dragon totem continued to rise. It was so hot that it was about to burn his arm. With Su Yan's current physical strength, it was definitely not the same as last time when the dragon totem guided him to the mountain treasure. But what kind of treasure could make the dragon totem emit such a strong temperature? It's an unknown ore. It weighs about 5 pounds, but it's indestructible. Even super alloys can't destroy it. It's confirmed that it's a super ore. The auctioneer took out the item and attracted the attention of everyone. Super ores could be refined into super weapons. Even the Beast Kings were afraid of weapons, so the price of super ores was very expensive. It was not a small amount. Chapter 34. Su Yin, this is a superior ore. Xia Yang explained, this kind of ore is rare. I don't know who is so lucky to find this treasure in a mining area. Mining area? Su Yan's eyes lit up. If he went to the mining area, would the dragon totem be able to dig out treasures? There was a lot of discussion in the auction hall. Superior ores were rare. Although this piece of ore was not big, it was still worth fighting for it. After all, it could be used to forge superior weapons. Superior weapons were extremely precious. There were very few of them in the entire Huaxia Alliance. They were all in the hands of the strong and could increase one's combat power. The starting price of this ore is 50 million yuan. Su Yin gasped. This was a bit high. The price would probably be several times higher. Although he had 200 million yuan, he might not be able to buy this or 60 million yuan. The rich refiner immediately called out, as if he was determined to get it. 70 million yuan. Someone else followed. This was too rare. It could be used to forge superior weapons. The price kept climbing. Just as Xia Yang expected, the price had exceeded 100 million yuan. Now, the price was relatively low. After all, there was a chance of failure when forging weapons. Moreover, it was impossible to forge a superior weapon with this piece of ore. 160 million. Su Yin finally called out. Xia Yang was confused. What did Su Yin want to do with this thing? Was he going to study the art of forging? 170 million. The new price appeared. Su Yin frowned. It was difficult to get 200 million yuan. If he did not have enough money, he could only give up this mysterious item. He quickly took out his communicator and contacted the fatty. No matter what, Su Yin wanted to take a gamble and see the power of the dragon totem. Su Yin, the exam must be over, right? A panting voice came from the other side of the communicator. I'm being trained by the teacher. I don't have time to find you. When will you come to the academy? Su Yin quickly told him his purpose. The big fatty said straightforwardly, I thought you wanted to borrow 1 billion yuan. It's only 100 million yuan. Tell me your account number, and I'll transfer the funds to you immediately. A smile appeared on Su Yan's face. He could not help but sigh at the importance of money. Cultivation and money were closely related. More importantly, there were some things that could not be bought with Huaxia currency. 200 million. Su Yin confidently called out the price. The auction hall was shocked. The price was already very high. Generally, the price of a superior weapon was more than 1 billion. This piece of, or was at most 200 million. I say, brother, don't indulge in the outer Tao. Refining techniques take up too much time. Xiaoyang couldn't help but advise, you're in the golden age of cultivation right now. You mustn't be distracted by the heretics. Hearing this, Su Yin smiled mysteriously. Don't worry, I have my own decision. This piece of, or was bought by Su Yin for a total of 220 million Chinese dollars. Su Yin also had a headache. He still owed Lin Wanlan more than 300 million yuan. In addition to the money he just borrowed, his external debt was more than 400 million yuan. If I owed so much money 100 years ago, Su Yin shuddered. Soon, the black ore was delivered to him. Su Yin paid 200 million yuan and was ready to leave. Even if Dragon Totem could find other treasures, the following items would easily cost hundreds of millions. Su Yin did not have the money to buy them. You asked about the accommodation. Xiaoyang smiled. You've asked the right person. The Underground Business Alliance has accommodation, but the price is different. Some of them cost 1 million yuan a day. What did you say? Su Yan's eyes widened. 1 million yuan a day? Although he still had 80 million yuan, he couldn't afford to live in 1 million yuan a day. Brother, don't worry. Although it costs 1 million yuan, it's definitely worth it. Because the profound qi of heaven and earth in the accommodation is very strong. The speed of cultivation is 4 or 5 times faster than that of ordinary cultivation rooms. The medium cultivation room is more than 3 times faster, and the price is also 300,000 yuan a day. Ordinary cultivation rooms are cheaper, only tens of thousands of yuan a day. It's nothing for you. Su Yin was stunned. It was already very expensive. If he wanted to buy a house in Huaxia City, wouldn't it be a sky-high price? I'll rent a medium one. Su Yin gritted his teeth and said, only the masters of Life Spring Stage were willing to rent advanced cultivation rooms. After all, the profound qi of heaven and earth was so strong that they could break through in the cultivation room. Su Yin didn't need this kind of cultivation room. Xiaoyang directly took Su Yin away. The Underground Business Alliance was very large. The backyard was very quiet. There were many cultivation rooms, each of which was more than 30 square meters. But when Su Yin walked into the cultivation room, he felt it was worth it. The profound qi of heaven and earth in the cultivation room was already very strong. Taking a breath of the profound qi of heaven and earth was comparable to taking 3 or 4 breaths outside, which save a lot of time for cultivation. Good. Su Yan's eyes were full of joy. With the help of the Dragon Totem and the power of the initial scripture, Su Yin could absorb the profound qi of heaven and earth at an amazing speed. It was definitely worth it. He didn't hurry to cultivate, but took out the black ore. Su Yin stared at the ore. It looked ordinary, but the material was very hard. He waited and felt it was like an indestructible magic iron. Su Yin scratched his head. Was it some kind of rare magic iron? The Dragon Totem kept heating up and guiding Su Yin, as if it was telling Su Yin the uniqueness of this treasure. No, Su Yin realized that the Dragon Totem seemed to be guiding the inside of the magic iron. Could it be that there was something hidden in the magic iron? Su Yin pondered for a while. His eyes lit up. His forehead suddenly turned transparent. When the soul cultivation art was activated, layers and layers of divine soul intent emerged and spread towards the black ore. Not good. Su Yan's expression changed. The black ore suddenly had a force that swallowed Su Yan's divine soul intent. In the next moment, his ears rang. His divine soul intent was like his third eye. Now, his third eye had arrived at a mysterious and strange world. It was like an independent space that was suffused with boundless, profound airflow. Moreover, numerous dazzling striations flickered within it. The striations were like divine chains of the Grand Tao, yet they were also like the weft and longitude of the heavens and the earth. Su Yan's divine soul observed these mysterious patterns. These patterns changed and moved on their own. They scattered mysterious symbols. Some are like true dragons, some are like cheilants, and some are like black tortoises. Countless mysterious symbols erupted. Radiance overflowed into the sky as if the heavens were sinking. This was like a very mysterious and terrifying word. Once it appeared, it would cause the world to change and the stars to move. Every strange word was like a kind of force that could reverse the universe. Every symbol was like a kind of ray that could reverse the 9 heavens and 10 earths. At the moment these mysterious symbols were combined together, wave after wave of terrifying and monstrous fluctuations swept out. It was like a myriad of true dragons were roaring with their heads held high as they charged into the sky. Su Yan's body trembled violently. His divine soul seemed to be scattered by this aura. He hugged his head and screamed. His divine soul was severely injured, and his sea of consciousness was almost shattered. Su Yan had a splitting headache. His hands were clenched tightly, and his body was trembling. The remnant power in his mind was about to make his divine soul scatter. This situation lasted for an hour before Su Yan's complexion improved. Almost died just now. Su Yan's eyes were wide open. There was an extremely terrifying inheritance in the black ore. It was not something that Su Yan could read at the moment. He thought carefully and soon understood that his divine soul was not strong enough. If he had a strong divine soul, he would definitely be able to see the inheritance hidden in the black. Or could it be that these mysterious symbols are a kind of powerful divine ability? Su Yan muttered to himself. He saw a lot of mysterious symbols just now, but when they were combined together, the aura that filled the air almost made his divine soul scatter. I'm rich. No matter what, the 200 million Huaxia dollars was worth it. Su Yan grinned. His eyes were full of expectation. Once his divine soul was strong enough, he would be able to read the inheritance inside. Make money. I want to make money. Su Yan also felt a heartache. He did not know how many treasures were covered in dust, waiting for the dragon totem to discover their value. But now, he still owed a few hundred million. Su Yan took off his shirt and stared at the dragon totem pattern. He laughed and said, "Dragon totem, don't worry and steal. When you are strong enough, it will be great if you can cover the entire earth. When that time comes, won't I, Su Yan, be the richest person in the world?" Su Yan also thought about it. He closed his eyes and cultivated his divine soul with the soul refining technique. His divine soul was severely injured just now, and he needed to rest for a few days. While cultivating the soul refining technique, he found that he could also cultivate his physical body with the initial sutra. This was multitasking. This was the benefit of the divine soul. At the same time, Su Yan took out the source essence stone. Jing Yonghui lowered his head and took out the source essence stone. Although it was not big, it was enough for him to squander. Buzz! His body glowed. When his chest rumbled, his blood chi source rose and fell. Su Yan's pores opened up and absorbed the vigorous heaven and earth essence chi in the cultivation room. With every breath, his body burned with the life essence chi. Under the heaven and earth essence chi, Su Yan's physical body began to emit an aura that began to strengthen. The dragon totem also greedily absorbed the energy refined by the initial sutra. It seems like my physical body needs the power of the source essence stone. He absorbed the essence of the source essence stone with the initial sutra. His physical body seemed to have broken through layer after layer of shackles. His blood chi source burned even more fiercely, and even his strength was climbing. What was this? This was a climb in strength. Where's my limit? Su Yin could feel the potential of his physical body. He had not found the limit. Even his bloodline had awakened and was absorbing the power of the Source Essence Stone. There must be an inheritance in my bloodline. My ancestors must be very powerful. Day after day, Su Yan's spirit recovered, and even his divine soul was strengthened. But now he dared not to try to peep at the inheritance in the black, or Su Yan's blood chi source was more powerful. His flesh was rippling with powerful strength. Su Yin felt that he should have the strength of more than 800 horses now. Dong, dong, dong. Suddenly, waves of golden ripples appeared. This was the sound of the bell, which resounded through the whole Huaxia city. All the people in the whole Huaxia city looked at the source of the golden ripples. It was an ancient bell. When it was shaking, it quickly enlarged and turned into a big golden bell. This bell was horrible, showing waves of horrible chi. Thousands of mysterious patterns were intertwined on the body of the bell. When all these patterns were lit up, the golden bell started to shine dazzlingly. Tens of thousands of beams of golden light shone on the entire Huaxia city, illuminating the whole city. Lin Wanlan's picture is out. Do you want to see the big picture? Hee hee. You can find my WeChat account in the history. Search Yeching Tian, and you can follow me. Chapter 35. What a horrifying treasure. Su Yin ran out of the cultivation room. He was stunned when he saw the golden bell. It should be an ancient treasure. The golden bell was hanging in the air and rotating. The golden ripples swept across the whole Huaxia city. The bell was full of horrible airflow, as if it could collapse the whole Huaxia city. All the cultivators in the city were shocked. They thought something big had happened, but someone said, "Don't panic. This is the treasure of Huaxia University, and also one of the most powerful ancient treasures in the Huaxia Alliance. It is said that once the Heaven Stabilizer Bell appears, even the top beast kings can't escape from it. The Heaven Stabilizer Bell is always in the Huaxia University. It is also the most precious treasure in Huaxia City. It is under the control of the Dean of Huaxia University. Such a treasure is too horrible. I don't know how many years it will take for the Huaxia Alliance to refine such a treasure." People in the city were talking about it. The appearance of the Heaven Stabilizer Bell meant that the gate of Huaxia City was opened. That was to say, today was the day when the geniuses from all over the country would enter the Huaxia University. Huaxia money is nothing. What can you do with 100 billion yuan? The real precious treasure can only be bought with Source Essence Stones. Su Yin looked at the Heaven Stabilizer Bell and murmured in his heart. At this moment, he was really shocked. This bell was too amazing. Once it was activated, it would definitely be a super weapon that could kill people. Boom! At this moment, the shock in Huaxia City was even more intense. It was a godlike shadow in a black robe. The power that spread out from his body was like a divine spear that could pierce the sky. It was an extremely shocking existence. When Su Yin looked at him, he felt a sharp pain in his divine soul, and his whole body was paralyzed. Has he cultivated a primordial spirit? Su Yin gasped. He felt that he could kill him with a single glance. This was the power of the divine soul. The black-robed man was very calm from the beginning to the end. He didn't explode his chi, but his power alone made him the only one who existed in the world. Everything else was just a foil to him. Dong dong. The golden bell rumbled as it hovered above the black-robed man's head. At this moment, his aura was even more astonishing. A faint aura that could dominate the 9 heavens spread out. It's the Dean of Huaxia University. It's War God Xiaze. I can't believe I saw Xiaze. The whole Huaxia city was in a hubbub of voices. Many people were staring at Xiaze with fanatical and admiring eyes. Even Su Yan's eyes were full of respect. Xiaze could be said to be the leader of the earliest batch of experts in the Huaxia Alliance. In other words, he had experienced the end of the world. In the first 50 years of the apocalyptic world, Xiaze was known as the undefeated war god. 50 years ago, he already had the strength to kill a top-tier beast king. It was Xia Zhe and the others who went through difficulties and dangers to lead human beings to fight against the endless ominous beasts. Their achievements were immortal. If it weren't for Zhu Yin, Xia Zhe would be the well-deserved king of the Huaxia Alliance. Now, many experts of the older generation in Huaxia City were staring at Xia Zhe with excitement. Xia Zhe was their backbone. Just like how Tao Tianhua and the others worshipped Zhu Yin, they worshipped the iron-blooded man Xia Zhe. Xia Zhe, the old man, actually came out. Tao Tianhua's face changed. He said, although he is old, his appeal is still amazing. In recent years, the younger generation has replaced many positions of the older generation. I don't know if Xia Zhe will be dissatisfied with it. Jing Yonghui frowned and said, no matter what, he is still the dean of Huaxia University. If war god Zhu Yin doesn't come out, no one can suppress Xia Zhe's deterrence. This old thing, what is he doing out here at such an old age? The future is the world of us young people. Tao Tianhua snorted coldly. It doesn't matter. The Earth's mutation has accelerated again. The older generation still feels that they are outdated. Xia Zhe's eyes stared at the audience. Few people could see his specific appearance. His divine soul was too amazing. Wherever his sharp eyes passed, everyone was as silent as cicadas in winter. For some reason, Su Yin found that Xia Zhe's eyes stayed on him for a while. When Xia Zhe left here, the people in the field took a deep breath. Some people suddenly found that their backs were covered with cold sweat. At this time, where Xia Zhe disappeared, 3 people with powerful auras suddenly came out. One was wearing a thunder robe, and the other was a middle-aged man holding his feet. The most eye-catching one was an old man wearing a robe with 8 trigrams. He was like a burning sun, which made many people excited. It's Lu Qingtian. The older generation admired him. Who was he? He was the most powerful alchemist in the Huaxia Alliance. He was at the peak of the 3rd grade. Every year, the body accumulation pill of Huaxia University was made by him. His disciples were spread all over the world, and even Tao Tianhua was cultivating medicine under his tutelage. His influence in the Huaxia Alliance was too great. His prestige was no less than the top 10 powerhouses. These 3 people were the 3 vice deans of Huaxia University. Disciples who have passed the examination, come to the mountain gate quickly. Lu Qingtian's voice spread all over the city of Huaxia. Su Yin rushed to the destination. Many people had gathered here. This time, there were more than 1,000 disciples who joined Huaxia University, but there were only 100 core disciples. Jia, wait until we arrive at Huaxia University. I will teach him a lesson. Tung Yingjie saw Su Yin at a glance. He, who had achieved success at a young age, could not forget what had happened 3 days ago. He tossed and turned for the past few days and could not sleep well. When he thought about what had happened at the city gate, a ball of fire burned in his heart. Tung Yingjie was the most outstanding disciple of this year. He was very eye-catching. Not only was he born with a thunder body, but he even had the strength of more than 800 horses in the awakening realm. His future achievements were limitless. Bai Xingyuan looked at Su Yin and then looked at Tung Yingjie. He sighed in his heart. Su Yin is also good, but he is not as good as Tung Yingjie. But this Tung Yingjie is too arrogant. It's not a good thing for my sister to marry him. At the mountain gate of Huaxia City, there were many onlookers. They were all pointing and talking. After all, they needed to choose who to cultivate with first before they could enter Huaxia University. This area was extremely quiet. The disciples who came were all standing in the crowd. More and more teachers came to Huaxia University. The 3 vice deans stood at the highest place. But when they saw no one behind the 3 vice deans, they couldn't help but sigh. Xia Zhe had never accepted a disciple, and this time would not be an exception. Tung Yingjie is very good, but it's a pity that Lei Lao has already designated Tung Yingjie as his pro-disciple. This Wu Wenyao is not simple. He has the strength of 800 horses in the awakening realm. He has the special resource of body accumulation elixir. Send him an invitation. I don't know if he'll be my student. I didn't expect that this year there would be a genius in the third sky of the life spring realm. I am now at the fifth sky. I don't think he will choose me as his teacher. Some people sighed. Some talented disciples had unlimited achievements in the future. But Huaxia University had some famous teachers, which were the goal of the genius students. After all, teachers were very important. With the guidance of a famous teacher, one would be able to avoid many detours. Su Yin, 700 horses of strength, proficient in Xingyi fist. Many teachers were paying attention to Su Yin. 700 horses of strength was already very strong, especially since Xingyi fist was very difficult to cultivate. They didn't expect that there would be such a genius in the ninth base. Difficult. Su Yin has offended Tao Tianhua and Jing Yonghui. He even beat up Jing Yongyu. Also, he is not on good terms with Tang Yingjie. Some people shook their heads. Su Yin was in trouble. If they accepted him as a student, they would inevitably be implicated in the future. They could only reluctantly give up. There were hundreds of teachers in Huaxia University. They were all holding the list that old Liang had compiled. All the students who had passed the exam were recorded on it. As long as they had a disciple they liked, they could send out an invitation. But the premise was that they would not tell outsiders. After all, it was very embarrassing to be rejected by a student. Tang Yingjie, a disciple in charge of sending out invitations, quickly walked down and handed the invitation to Tang Yingjie before leaving. Tang Yingjie accepted the invitation with a face full of pride. He was the first student to receive the invitation. He even stared at Su Yin with a provocative gaze. Now that he had offended Su Yin, he wondered how many teachers would be willing to accept him as a student. It must be Lei Lao. Even Lei Lao has spoken. No one will do such meaningless things. Among the teachers, an old man in a thunder robe was full of smiles. He was born with a lightning body. Back then, he didn't have a good teacher to guide him. He also didn't have a good cultivation environment, which led to many flaws in his cultivation. He was still brooding about it. Now that the heavens had given him a Tang Yingjie, he was looking forward to seeing Tang Yingjie become a famous expert in the future. Zuo Wenyao. Everyone was in an uproar. 3 invitations appeared in front of Zuo Wenyao at once. He was a genius who could infinitely approach the strength of 800 horses. He was also given a body accumulation pill by the college. Many teachers wanted to accept him as a student. After all, the strength of their students was directly related to their advancement. Many teachers would send out invitations once they confirmed their targets. The students would then choose their teachers based on the invitations. Zuo Wenyao was the first to walk out of the crowd. Some teachers were disappointed that Zuo Wenyao didn't choose them. The most outstanding students in this batch were Tang Yingjie and Zuo Wenyao. As for Su Yin, although he also had the strength of 700 horses, he was in big trouble. Many people didn't want to get into trouble. That's strange. Why doesn't Su Yin have a single invitation? He is the number 1 person in the 9th base. Even Jing Yongyu was beaten by him. It is said that he has a lot of trouble. The teachers definitely don't want to get into trouble. Some of the Huaxia University's disciples discussed in low voices. Their eyes frequently scanned Su Yin. Even the students who were weaker than him had received several invitations. The number of core members in the field was reduced by more than half. Only Su Yin didn't receive an invitation. This attracted the attention of the onlookers. Su Yin. It is said that Huaxia University gave him a body accumulation pill. With his achievements, how could no one be willing to accept him as a student? I've secretly received news that Tao Tianhua has spread the word that anyone who takes Su Yin as a student will be his enemy. What? Tao Tianhua dares to say such a thing? What kind of enmity does he have with Su Yin? It is said that Jing Yonghui and Su Yin don't get along well either. The onlookers started to discuss. For a moment, there were rumors everywhere. Grandpa. Bai Minjing anxiously stared at a beardless old man in the crowd. Bai Jing'an sighed helplessly. With Su Yan's talent, he was willing to accept him as a student. However, he was different from the others. The Bai family was a big family. If he chose Su Yin, it would be a hidden danger to the Bai family. Su Yin, awakening realm with the strength of 700 horses. His specific strength is unknown, but it shouldn't be much higher. A dark-skinned old man with bright eyes stared at Su Yan's information and said, "He is also proficient in Xingyi martial arts. I also know Xingyi martial arts. Although I offended Tao Tianhua and the others, I am not afraid of these young people. I want to give him an invitation." Su Yan. The moment the student who gave out the invitation shouted a name, it caused a stir. Finally, a teacher who was not afraid of trouble had arrived. "Who is it?" Tao Tianhua and the others' expressions changed. Who dared to make an enemy of them? It was not just Tao Tianhua, but also Jing Yonghui, two geniuses of the younger generation, plus Tung Yingjie. Who would dare to accept Su Yan as a disciple? Su Yan held the invitation. After opening it, he saw a dark-skinned old man who wrote a very domineering sentence. "My name is Fan Hong. No matter who you offended, I am willing to accept you as a student." What a fearless old man. Su Yan raised his head and looked at the group of teachers. He quickly found Fan Hong, who nodded at Su Yan. Old Liang said that this Su Yan is decisive. He dares to roam the wilderness alone. He is worthy of training. A dignified middle-aged man also gave out an invitation, which made Tao Tianhua and the others' faces completely black. A second invitation was sent out, but they still did not know who sent it. Wu Rong, old Liang's friend. "Su Yan, I think your results are good. I want to accept you as a disciple." Su Yan saw Wu Rong in the crowd. Whether it was Fan Hong or Wu Rong, he did not know who to choose. Next, Su Yan received 3 more invitations. This made Tao Tianhua and the others' expressions change. How could this be? Could it be that Xia Zhe's appearance made these old men straighten their backs? 6 invitations. Those who dare to send out invitations to Su Yan are definitely not ordinary people. I wonder who Su Yan will choose. After all, there is news that Su Yan obtained a body accumulation pill. His future achievements will be very high. In this year's exam, the Awakening Realm should be second only to Tung Yingjie and Zhuo Yao. It's not strange that a teacher would choose him. The spectators were all in discussion. Fan Hong did not expect that so many teachers would send out invitations. Following that, he sent out another invitation. He had high hopes for this calm and steady young man. He chose Fan Hong. After receiving 2 invitations in a row, Su Yan was really biased toward him. Just as he was seriously considering the selection, another invitation came. This invitation letter was very unique. Once it was opened, waves after waves of primordial and savage aura rushed out. Chapter 36. Why is this invitation letter so special? Many teachers looked at the invitation letter in Su Yan's hand. The aura emitted by the invitation letter disappeared in a flash. The true dragon pattern also disappeared without a trace. Su Yan's heart trembled. This true dragon pattern was not the true dragon he encountered on Mount Everest. However, the aura emitted by the true dragon pattern was very similar to the Xingyi fist. Could the person who took out the invitation letter be the creator of the Xingyi fist? If that was the case, then he was definitely a martial arts grandmaster. However, what surprised Su Yan was that how did he create the dragon pattern? Could it be that he had seen a true dragon before? A true dragon was the king of all beasts. It was extremely terrifying. True dragons only existed in legends. Although Su Yan had seen one before, it did not mean that there were true dragons in other places. Yuan. These 2 words appeared on the invitation letter again. There was even a person's image. Su Yan looked over and found traces of him. His heart trembled again. Who is he? A tall man stood in the crowd of teachers. His hair was messy, his face was rough, and his skin was bronze. He was staring at Su Yan. Su Yan was also staring at him. For some reason, Su Yan's body was about to explode. It was as if there was a terrifying connection between him and his body. The middle-aged man quickly restrained his aura. The strange feeling in Su Yan's body dissipated. He was shocked. How could there be such a wonderful change? Su Yan felt that this was related to his awakening. It was even possible that the 2 of them had similar constitutions. Yuan's eyes also looked at Su Yan a few more times. He had never paid attention to worldly affairs. This was the first time he had paid attention to a student. Yuan, it's him. Su Yan no longer hesitated. He directly handed the invitation letter to the statistician and stepped into the crowd of teachers who had chosen their teachers. This scene stunned many people. How could he choose so quickly? Could it be because of the invitation letter he had just received? They were very curious as to who Su Yan would choose as his teacher. The expressions of Tao Tianhua and the others were also uncertain. If a top teacher took a fancy to Su Yan, it would be troublesome. It would be difficult to deal with him in the future. I wonder who Su Yan chose? I hope it's a powerful teacher so that he can protect Su Yan. Bai Minjing finally felt relieved. She felt that since Su Yan had chosen so quickly, he was definitely not an ordinary teacher. There were not many students left. Many students who were still hesitating quickly chose their teachers. All right, since you've made your choice, follow me. Lu Qingtian laughed heartily. He was wearing an 8 trigrams robe. With a swing of his sleeves, he led the group forward. This was a forbidden area. Only the personnel of Huaxia University could enter and leave freely. There were guards patrolling everywhere. What made Su Yan quite surprised was that Huaxia University was not in Huaxia City. Instead, it was in the primitive forest outside the south gate of Huaxia City. What entered his sight was a continuous mountain range. It was as if a big dragon was lying here. It was filled with a kind of heaven and earth momentum that could pierce the sky. The mountain range towered into the clouds. It was faintly visible. In the clouds, some halls were faintly discernible. There were also some birds and auspicious beasts that were spitting out multicolored light. All of this shocked their eyes. This was Huaxia University. In the future, they would cultivate here for up to 10 years. They walked along the stone steps to Huaxia University. As soon as they stepped inside, the exuberant qi of heaven and earth shocked most people, especially Su Yan. The exuberant qi of heaven and earth was almost comparable to the middle-level cultivation room of the Underground Business Alliance. Huaxia University must also have cultivation rooms. No wonder so many people rushed to join Huaxia University. Follow me. In the next few years, you will live in Qianlong Mountain. Remember, private fighting is forbidden in Huaxia University. Once it is discovered, the serious ones will be expelled from the university. Qianlong Mountain was right in front of them. It was a huge mountain towering into the sky. It was magnificent. There were many residences on the mountain and at the foot of the mountain. However, everyone could feel that the qi of heaven and earth on the mountain was extremely rich. They could even see the surging qi of heaven and earth with naked eyes. There was a difference between ordinary disciples and core disciples. Ordinary disciples lived at the foot of the mountain, while core disciples lived on the mountain. There were more than 1,000 core residences in Qianlong Mountain. However, a small part of them were empty. Su Yan also keenly discovered that there were quite a number of residences. Regardless of whether it was the area or the construction methods, they were much better than other residences. What was going on? The stronger you are, the better you live. Some of the larger residences have a higher concentration of qi of heaven and earth than other residences. You'll have to fight for it yourself. You will not be challenged in the first 3 months, but after 3 months, it will be hard to say. Elder Liang explained, ordinary disciples, don't be discouraged. If you are strong enough, you can also replace the core disciples. Hearing this, Xiang Yang's fighting spirit was ignited. He did not believe that he would be weaker than Su Yan. Su Yan was a little confused. Would the seniors not choose a better residence? Would they leave it for them? Some students were also confused. You don't know this. If you don't perform well in the university for a long time, you will be kicked out of Qianlong Mountain, let alone a residence. In short, Huaxia University does not need mediocre people. If you are ambitious, go and conquer the Qianlong ranking. If you can rise in the Qianlong ranking, you will become a gold member. The students who were listening were excited. There were only about 20 gold members in the entire Huaxia University. They had the best resources. Who would not want to become a gold member? Soon, Su Yan and the others saw a giant stone tablet at the foot of Qianlong Mountain. Qianlong ranking. Su Yan stared at the stone tablet. With a glance, he saw a lot of names. First place, Jiang Wuhan, 10,982 points second, Yu Ling 10,367 points. These were all gold members, including Tao Tianhua and the others. Jiang Wuhan and the others were all famous geniuses. It was not surprising that they were at the top of the list. There were a total of 27 gold members. It was very few. The main reason was that every 10 years, the seniors would graduate. Huaxia University was the largest organization in the entire alliance. If Su Yin and the others were infinitely close to a gold member, then they would be able to become a gold member after passing the examination. 28th, Jing Yonghui, 8,637 points. Looking at this name, Jing Yonghui's expression was cold and arrogant. He had been a number 1 core disciple for almost 2 years. If it were not for the rich rewards, he would have become a gold member long ago. Now, he was basically in the same position as a gold member. The points would get lower and lower. This Qianlong ranking included all disciples. Generally speaking, it was amazing to have more than 5,000 points. Teacher, let us compete with the seniors. How can we compete with them? Some people felt that it was unfair. They should have their own ranking. Ha ha ha. It's different from what you think. The points ranking is not based on a person's realm. A teacher laughed and said, "Our Huaxia University has the Tower of Trials. You will know when you go there. It tests a person's comprehension ability. Our Huaxia University values comprehension ability very much. As long as your comprehension ability is high enough, you will be able to get special training. Take Jing Yonghui, for example. He is now the number 1 core disciple. He gets a lot of resources every year." A teacher smiled and said, "He even gets a lot of contribution points. You can exchange them for all kinds of treasures you want. As long as you have enough, you can even exchange for ancient treasures." These students were all dumbfounded. Even ancient treasures could be exchanged for? Tao Tianhua only smiled coldly. How difficult was that? How many ancient treasures were there in the entire Huaxia Alliance? Ordinary treasures aside, there were no more than 10 treasures like the Heaven Stabilizer Bell in the entire Huaxia Alliance. In short, the Qianlong ranking is the standard to measure the resources you get. As long as you can make it to the top, you can have anything you want. Some teachers were impassioned as they tried to boost their fighting spirit. There are a total of 12 levels in the Tower of Trials. Even the top gold student could only reach the 10th level, and the top core disciple could only reach the 8th level. If you can pass, the dean will personally entertain you. The students were full of fighting spirit. Once they made it to the top, they would definitely cause a sensation in the entire Huaxia University. These teachers were just saying, usually, it would take a student a year to make it to the 5th level. Teacher, where is the Tower of Trials? Someone couldn't wait to take a look. Follow me. Remember, you can only try it once a month. However, core disciples can try it twice. The Tower of Trials was near the Qianlong Mountain. It was a tower with 12 levels that pierced through the sky. It was so tall that it looked like a heavenly treasure. The new students were shocked. It was too tall. It must be something unearthed from ancient ruins. What's going on? Su Yin clenched his fist. As he approached the Tower of Trials, the black ore in his pocket started to heat up. The black ore was obtained by Su Yin at the auction. It was very likely that there was a shocking inheritance hidden inside. However, what did the black ore have to do with the Tower of Trials? I will definitely make it to the top, Tung Yingjie said arrogantly. The students around him didn't dare to say anything. Tung Yingjie was indeed arrogant, but he had the right to be. Good, Yingjie. It's good that you have the confidence. I'm looking forward to your future changes. Lei Lao laughed heartily. Follow me. I've already chosen a place for you to live. Some teachers were surprised. Lei Lao valued his student too much. They didn't dare to think about it. Yingjie had a lightning constitution. This kind of Yingjie was destined to be a proud son of heaven in the future. He would be above millions of geniuses. Then, they were shocked to see the vice dean, Duan Pengshan, beckoning Zhuo Wenyao to appear beside him. The students were dumbfounded. Oh my god, this year's batch is too awesome. 2 students are under the tutelage of 2 vice deans. The people around them looked at them differently. After all, the vice deans of Huaxia University were only below the dean. Some people had a feeling that the first and second place of this year's batch would be Tung Ingjia and Zhuowenyao. If Su Yin didn't offend Tao Tianhua, he would probably be taken in by the vice dean. Some people felt that it wasn't worth it for Su Yin. What a joke. How could the vice dean be afraid of Tao Tianhua? Don't talk nonsense. Someone retorted, no matter how strong the vice dean is, it's impossible for him to take in all three of them. First of all, Elder Shui is an alchemy master. It's impossible for him to take in disciples. As for Lei Lao and Duan Pengshan, Lei Lao would definitely choose Tang Yingjia. Between Zhuowenyao and Su Yin, Zhuowenyao is definitely stronger. That's true. Su Yin was born at the wrong time. Some people whispered. Su Yin appeared in front of Yi Yuan. Chapter 37. Remember my communicator. I'll come find you in a few days. Choose your residence and send me your address. Yi Yuan's hair was messy, his skin was bronze, and his rough face was full of vicissitudes of life. He left after giving Su Yin some instructions. Su Yin was dumbfounded. This was too irresponsible. Even the strange gazes around him made Su Yin feel that something was wrong. In the end, Jingyang Wei couldn't hold back his laughter. Tao Tianhua also laughed until he was cramping. This Su Yin, he's really messing around. Fan Hong, who had always wanted to accept Su Yin as a student, shook his head. His eyes were full of helplessness. However, Su Yin had already chosen a teacher. He couldn't be so thick-skinned as to accept Su Yin as a student. Su Yin actually chose Yi Yuan who has no title as a teacher. It seems that Yi Yuan hasn't had a single disciple since he started at the university. Some of the older students couldn't believe it. Yi Yuan can be considered one of the oldest teachers in the university. I don't even know how he became a teacher. It said that Yi Yuan hasn't even opened his life spring, although he was lucky enough to obtain a body tempering technique. Didn't Su Yin do his homework in advance? Choosing a teacher so rashly is too irresponsible of himself. The students of Huaxia University couldn't believe it. Yi Yuan's presence in the university was almost non-existent. No one would have thought that Su Yin would choose Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan would also accept students. The discussions around him made Su Yin frown. How could someone who could create the Xingyi fist be useless? He was definitely going to become a martial Dao grandmaster. However, they said that Yi Yuan was also an awakened one. He hadn't stepped into the life spring? Su Yin couldn't believe it. Could it be that Yi Yuan was the same as him? Had he mastered an extremely powerful body tempering technique? According to the records of the Beginning Sutra, even if he did not open his life spring, he could still become very powerful with the Beginning Sutra. The initial scripture targeted the physical body, but the method to open the gate of life was not recorded in the initial scripture. This method could only be found in the Academy's Scripture Pavilion. Come with me. You can stay at my place. Bai Xingyuan hurriedly pulled Bai Minjing away. Although cultivation depended on the individual, how far could Su Yin go without the guidance of a great teacher? What's more, he was in so much trouble. Originally, he thought that Su Yin's future was pretty good, but now he didn't think so anymore. Is teacher really that bad? Su Yin frowned. He then shook his head. Since teacher Yi Yuan created the Xingyi fist, he must be a martial arts grandmaster. Dare I ask how many teachers in the academy can create such a martial art? Su Yin ignored the people around him and walked straight to the peak of the hidden dragon mountain. On the mountain, the core disciples' residences were pretty good. The remaining large residences were even rarer. Many of the new core disciples had already rushed up. After all, they had a 3-month safe period. Who wouldn't want their own residence to be a bit more exuberant? Dragon Totem. Just as Su Yin was choosing his residence, his eyelids twitched slightly. The dragon totem suddenly emitted a warmth and began to guide him. This scene made Su Yin pleasantly surprised. Could the dragon totem be able to find a treasure ground? He walked in silently. The mountain was very big. Clouds and mist rolled, and multicolored light shone in all directions. The courtyards were surrounded by the heaven and earth essence chi. He had already rushed to the deepest part. There were relatively fewer residences here, and even the heaven and earth essence chi wasn't particularly exuberant. What is Su Yin doing? What's wrong with him? It's fine if he chose a bad teacher, but now even his residence is so bad? He probably knows his place. After all, he can challenge students with good residences in 3 months. These older students are all staring at us. I think it's better to choose a smaller residence, just in case. Su Yan's soul force was very strong. When he heard these people's discussions, the corners of his mouth curled up. He smiled and said, "What do you know? With a dragon totem in hand, what treasure ground can I find? I think the dragon totem can even find the dragon vein. It's here." Su Yan arrived at his destination. There was a bamboo forest here, and it was very quiet. At the edge of the bamboo forest, there was a courtyard. Although the residence wasn't big, the overall construction material was especially hard ore. It was many times stronger than the tofu dregs of 100 years ago. Su Yin took down the uninhabited sign at the door and pushed the door open to walk in. The inside was about 60 square meters. The space he lived in alone wasn't small. There was a living room, a dining room, and a bathroom. The heaven and earth essence chi here is indeed not as good as outside. Su Yan's eyes looked around, his gaze fixed on the living room. He pushed the door open and walked in, then closed the door tightly. The dragon totem pointed to this place. Su Yan took a deep breath and suppressed the excitement in his heart. His eyes lit up as he searched inside. Even if there isn't a dragon vein, will there be a mine here? Will there be tens of millions of origin essence stones? If Su Yan's words were to spread, who knew how many people would be scared to death? The total amount of origin essence stones on Earth right now couldn't possibly exceed tens of thousands. After searching inside for a while, Su Yin squatted on the ground with a serious expression. His eyes looked at the bright white floor as he muttered to himself, "Could it be below?" After thinking for a while, Su Yin suddenly swung his fist and smashed the floor. At this moment, the hard floor was torn apart. Even the soil layer began to crack. The strength of Su Yan's punch was astonishing. He punched 3 times in a row and almost collapsed the soil layer. What is this? In the next moment, Su Yan's eyes were wide open. The soil layer began to undulate as if an earthquake had occurred. Even the entire residence was shaking. The house was about to be blown away by the thing that drilled out from the ground. Whoa! Suddenly, rays of dazzling light shot out from the soil layer like lightning. There were tens of millions of rays of light surging out. Strand after strand, they spewed out majestic life essence. "Not good," Su Yin exclaimed. Once the divine power leaked out, it would definitely attract the attention of all the students in Hidden Dragon Mountain. With his ability, how could he protect this precious land? Boom! Su Yin wanted to stop it, but it was too late. The square collapsed. The vast energy undulated like a dragon-shaped light pillar. It was as if an earth dragon had soared into the sky and was about to collapse the house. It pierced through the sky. Roar! It was also at this moment that the dragon totem on Su Yan's arm awakened like lightning. The true dragon totem erupted with tens of thousands of rays of golden light. The true dragon on the totem soared into the sky. When it raised its head and swallowed, the dragon-shaped life essence spat out from the ground was instantly swallowed up by the true dragon. The true dragon's illusory form was visible to the naked eye. It soared between heaven and earth for a while before returning to Su Yan's arm and lying dormant. Su Yan's eyes were wide open. The dragon totem actually erupted on its own. First of all, there was a hole in the ground. It was like a collapsed area. Below the hole, the spiritual essence of heaven and earth surged in all directions. It was like the undulating sea. The vigorous spiritual essence made one's hair stand on end. It was so dense that it almost turned into liquid. Without a doubt, this was the Dragon Vein's treasure cave. This was the Dragon Vein's most important place. Of course, it was impossible for there to be only one treasure cave. The treasure cave was the place where the spiritual essence of the underground gathered. Now that Su Yin had opened the treasure cave, the spiritual essence of heaven and earth poured out. Fortunately, the dragon totem had erupted and swallowed the violent energy. Otherwise, this matter would be troublesome. As for the dragon totem, it had also changed. After it had swallowed a huge amount of divine power, it was faintly filled with an ancient and desolate aura. It was vivid and lifelike, as if it was riding on the clouds. Suyan's eyes were fixed on the totem on his arm. He felt the vast and terrifying aura of the true dragon, the king of all beasts, the supreme divine beast's aura. The dragon totem is even more terrifying. It is emitting a divine aura. Suyan fiercely sucked in a breath of cold air. What kind of treasure is the dragon totem exactly? In this treasure cave, Suyan's eyes looked at the treasure cave that was surrounded by spiritual essence of heaven and earth. It was as if a dragon transformation pond had opened here. The vigorous spiritual essence of heaven and earth was accompanied by strands of golden light. It seemed as if the dragon vein's luck was also floating out. This was a paradise, a treatment that even gold students could not have. Now, it had been dug out by Suyan. Ha ha ha. Suyan laughed, his eyes shining. Because this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that he saw with his own eyes that there were countless amounts of liquefied spiritual essence floating in the treasure cave. I'm rich. The corners of Suyan's mouth were so wide that they reached his ears. He opened his mouth and laughed silently. There were countless amounts of liquefied spiritual essence inside, even inexhaustible. This was because the treasure cave was a place that nurtured liquefied spiritual essence. 1 drop of liquefied spiritual essence was 100,000 Chinese dollars. The wealth inside was an outrageous amount. If word got out, it would cause a huge earthquake. While happy, Suyan was extremely nervous. What should he do? There was no way he could keep such a huge treasure. If word got out, he would have to hand it over. Bam! Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Suyan was startled. He was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. He said nervously, "Oh no, have I been discovered? What should I do? If Huaxia University finds out, I'll definitely hand it over." For a moment, he did not know what to do. Bam, bam, bam. The knocking on the door became more urgent. Suyan could only brace himself. He even forgot to use his spirit to check. He closed the living room and opened the door. "What's wrong with you? Why did you take so long to open the door?" A young girl stood outside the door, but her expression was not very good. She said with a bit of sarcasm, "Do you know how long I've been waiting? What were you doing inside just now?" You are?" Suyan frowned. Did this little girl eat gunpowder? However, a good man does not fight with a girl. Suyan did not say much. I'm a steward of Hidden Dragon Mountain. This box is yours. There are your clothes and other things inside. There are also some things that old Liang asked me to give you." The young girl finished speaking and left. It seemed that she did not want to say another word to Suyan. Suyan was dumbfounded. How could a handyman be so awesome? This Suyan offended Tao Tianhua and became a student of a Yuan. What can he achieve in the future? He wants you to serve him? Dream on. He wants you to serve Tang Yingjie and Zuo Yao. Chong Lingyu muttered, but her voice was heard by Suyan's spirit. He was stunned for a moment. He scratched his head and said helplessly, "Damn it, a little girl is looking down on me? What the hell is this?" Chapter 38. Inside the box were 2 sets of Huaxia University student uniforms, both of which were made of pretty good materials. There was also a student handbook, as well as information on how to obtain resources that Elder Liang had given to Suyan. First, Suyan carefully read through the resource contract that Elder Liang had given him. Body accumulation pill. Suyan first saw the 3rd grade pill. Only 3 to 5 pills were refined every year. This thing was too precious, and only awakened ones would have a miraculous effect. Otherwise, Suyan wouldn't even have a chance to obtain it. "I'll collect it from the Alchemy Hall in a month." Suyan was relieved. There were other resources that Suyan could directly obtain. 100 drops of liquefied origin essence every month. Seeing this, Suyan couldn't help but laugh. Although 100 drops isn't a small amount, the amount of liquefied origin essence in this treasure cave is probably enough to supply all the students for a year and a half. He couldn't help but sigh. Huaxia University was wealthy. Outside, One drop of liquefied origin essence cost 100,000 Chinese dollars, but Huaxia University controlled more than 1 or 2 dragon vein treasure caves. The amount of liquefied origin essence produced every year was definitely a terrifying amount. One source essence stone every year. Ordinary disciples also had liquefied origin essence, but only a few core disciples had source essence stones. Of course, there were conditions. Source essence stones couldn't be obtained all the time. One could only obtain one in the first year, and in the future, one had to be in the top 3 of the core disciples to obtain one. Suyan's resources weren't limited to these. If he broke through to the life spring stage, the amount of liquefied origin essence he would receive would triple. The faster he broke through, the more resources he would receive. When Suyan saw the following conditions, he was shocked and began to carefully read them. Pass the 5th floor of the Tower of Trials within half a year. You will be rewarded with 1,000 drops of liquefied origin essence, a jar of Beast King blood essence, and 5,000 contribution points. Pass the 6th floor of the Tower of Trials within a year. You will be rewarded with 3,000 drops of liquefied origin essence, a jar of Beast King blood essence, and 8,000 contribution points. If you pass within half a year, your contribution points will be doubled. In 1.5 years, you have cleared the 7th level of the Tower of Trials. You will be rewarded with 5,000 drops of liquefied origin essence, 1 supreme grade weapon, and 10,000 contribution points. If you clear the Tower of Trials within half a year, your contribution points will be doubled. Clear the 8th level of the Tower of Trials within 2 years. You will be rewarded with 8,000 drops of liquefied origin essence, 1 top-tier martial technique, and 20,000 contribution points. If you clear it within a year, the contribution points will be doubled. Suyan's eyes were red. The rewards were too generous. Origin essence stones, top-grade weapons, and top-grade martial arts techniques were all incomparably valuable. However, at Huaxia University, as long as one was talented enough, they could be obtained for free. If you can pass the 10th floor of the Tower of Trials within 3 years, you will be rewarded with 30,000 drops of Origin Liquid, 10 Origin Essence Stones, 1 drop of Flood Dragon True Blood, and 50,000 contribution points. If you pass the 10th floor within 2 years, your contribution points will be doubled. Suyan was speechless. This was definitely a real Flood Dragon. The Jiaolong he had killed in the past could not be considered a real Jiaolong, but Huaxia University had the true blood of a Jiaolong. If you can pass the 11th floor, you will be rewarded with 100,000 drops of liquefied origin essence, 30 origin essence stones, 1 ancient divine ability, and 200,000 contribution points. If you pass the 11th floor within 3 years, your contribution points will be doubled. What was an ancient divine ability? It had already surpassed the category of martial techniques. It was a divine ability inheritance excavated from ancient ruins. In Huaxia University, even gold students needed special conditions to obtain such an inheritance. If you pass the 12th floor of the Tower of Trials, you will be rewarded with 1 million drops of liquefied origin essence, 100 origin essence stones, and 1 million contribution points. Suyan was stupefied. What was being rich and overbearing? This was being rich and overbearing. 100 origin essence stones? This was a number that made one's hair stand on end. If you can take first place in the Tower of Trials freshman competition in 3 months, you will be rewarded with 10,000 contribution points, 10,000 drops of liquefied origin essence, and 1 origin essence stone. Keep it up, month after month. Suyan breathed heavily. Origin essence stones, super frequency weapons, and ancient divine ability. These rewards were too astonishing. Who wouldn't be jealous? Origin essence stones were definitely not something that could be bought with money. What puzzled Suyan was, what were contribution points? At this moment, his communicator rang. Suyan picked it up and heard the fatty's hurried voice. Brother, I've heard everything. How did you become Yi Yuan's disciple? What's this Yi Yuan's background? Suyan also wanted to know. What do you mean? The fatty pondered for a moment and quickly said, he's part of the oldest group of people in the academy. This Yi Yuan is like an invisible person. However, I've heard from the teachers that he used to be a peerless genius. It said that even Xia Zhe thought highly of him. Su Yan's heart trembled. A peerless genius that even the dean thought highly of. I don't know the details, but this Yuan used to be very amazing. However, that's all in the past because he couldn't open his life spring. It said that he took away a body-tempering art from an ancient ruin. As for what kind of art it is, no one knows. The fatty was concerned about Su Yan and said a lot. He even hinted that he wanted Su Yan to change teachers. Although Su Yan's actions would cause some teachers to be disgusted, Yuan was different. He believed that these teachers would understand. All right, I'll think about it. Let's talk about it after I meet with the teachers. Su Yan smiled and said, "All right, what are contribution points?" "Ha, you've also received the new resource list, right?" The fatty howled. "I'm now 36th in the Hidden Dragon ranking. I estimate that in a few months, I'll be able to reach the top 20. However, don't even think about the rewards in the Tower of Trials. It's impossible. You'll only know how difficult it is when you get there. As for contribution points, they're very important. Lin Wanlan doesn't have 5,000 contribution points for you. Remember, contribution points are very important. Newcomers get 2,000, but you probably have 5,000 contribution points. That's 10,000 in total. Even I'm jealous." The fatty laughed and said, "In 3 months, you'll be able to challenge the Tower of Trials. If you're lucky enough to reach the 6th floor, you'll be able to exchange your contribution points for many treasures. If you can pass the 6th floor and reach the 7th floor, that'll be amazing." "Is the 7th floor very difficult?" Su Yan asked. "Of course." The fatty shrieked. "It's more than difficult. It's basically impossible. Since the opening of the Institute, only the 1st and 2nd in the Hidden Dragon ranking have been able to do it. Of course, Yuan has also done it." Su Yan was shocked. This was too difficult. He was talking about the first time he challenged the Tower of Trials. In other words, it was the result of Su Yan's first challenge in the past 3 months. "I still have things to do, so I'll talk to you later. I've already given you the contribution point treasure guide. Read it carefully." After hanging up, Su Yan quickly searched through the box that Chongling Yu had given him. He found thick books one after another. He couldn't help but shake his head. The current society didn't have the internet. Due to the changes in the world, the air was filled with the essence of heaven and earth. The internet couldn't transmit signals at all. The classification of the books was similar to that of the Underground Business Alliance. Su Yan quickly flipped through the books. 500-year-old ginseng. Su Yan was shocked. It's actually a 500-year-old ginseng. Damn, it's a 500-year-old ginseng. How strong is its medicinal power? How much can it strengthen one's qi and blood? 10,000 contribution points. Su Yan stuttered. 10,000 contribution points could be exchanged for a 500-year-old ginseng? He quickly contacted Xiaoyang. The conclusion he received shocked him. It was basically not for sale in the outside world. First of all, 500-year-old ginseng had been researched to extend one's lifespan by 30 years. If such a treasure were to appear in the outside world, its price would be at least a few billion. But here in the Huaxia Alliance, it only cost 10,000 contribution points. Su Yan couldn't help but think of the 1 million contribution points reward for clearing the Tower of Trials. How terrifying was that? Not only that, there were also many heavenly treasures. They were all herbs that were several hundred years old and were worth around 10,000 contribution points. The vermilion fruit only costs 3,000 contribution points. They also sell source essence stones for 30,000 contribution points. It seems like source essence stones are extremely rare treasures. They also sell flood dragon blood for 6,000 contribution points. What is this primordial true blood? It actually costs a terrifying 100,000 contribution points. Su Yan was dumbfounded. This was too ridiculous. Could the primordial true blood be the sacred blood left behind by an ancient expert? Su Yan flipped through the treasures again. His heart was beating very fast. He found a most valuable ancient treasure, the Golden Crow Cauldron. Through the catalog, Su Yan could feel its ancient and mysterious aura. There was a golden crow carved on the cauldron. What was a golden crow? It was a great vicious beast. It was rumored that it was an ancient species that lived above the sun. 1,000,000 contribution points. Su Yan fiercely sucked in a breath of cold air. Primordial treasures cost 1,000,000 contribution points. This was the most valuable treasure. Many teachers desperately tried to earn contribution points to buy the Golden Crow Cauldron. Oh my God, they even sell the body accumulation pill. It costs 100,000 contribution points, but the premise is that only awakened ones can buy it. It can't even be sold privately. There are so many divine abilities. The most valuable one is the original copy of the Immemorial Star Fist. It costs a terrifying 800,000 contribution points. Core disciples can get a 20% discount. If one is in the top 10, they can get a 50% discount. If one is in the top 3, they can get a 20% discount. Su Yan found that for many martial skills, as long as one performed well, the discount was very high. After reading, Su Yan's eyes were full of excitement. As long as he had enough contribution points, he could get anything he wanted. The only way to earn contribution points was to clear the trial tower and complete quests. Money could not buy contribution points. Normally, killing Lord-ranked monsters and Beast Kings would reward contribution points. The Academy also purchased Beast King materials, but the amount of contribution points they received was not high. The whole Hidden Dragon Mountain was not calm. One after another, geniuses who boasted that they could soar to the sky in the future were excited when they saw the rewards. As long as one was talented, they could have unimaginable rewards. I must be the first among the freshmen. Zhuo Wenyao's eyes turned red. The Source Essence Stone was too precious. Huaxia University sold it, but one piece cost 100,000 contribution points. Unless one performed well, there was no Source Essence Stone reward at all. Too extravagant, too extravagant. Huaxia University's treasury is so terrifying. As long as you have contribution points, you can get anything. Years ago, I accidentally found a 300-year-old ginseng in the wilderness. After swallowing it, my strength increased from 300 to more than 400 horsepower. If it were not for this ginseng, I would not have been able to join Huaxia University. I did not expect Huaxia University to have a 500-year-old ginseng. This is too extravagant. This is the Golden Crow Cauldron. Legend has it that it is only one step away from the strongest treasures in the Huaxia Alliance. If I can get it, I will be rich. The teacher saw the rewards for this year's competition and couldn't help but gasp. The rewards were increased, and even some of the more outstanding seniors received new terms. After all, the rewards were too many. As long as one had enough contribution points, they could exchange for any treasure they wanted. The whole Hidden Dragon Mountain only had a few thousand disciples. Each one of them was filled with strong fighting spirit. Only by killing and trampling all the other geniuses under their feet could they obtain these tempting rewards. In 3 years, I will definitely pass the 10th level of the Tower of Trials. The first gold student will be mine. Laying Jie was full of confidence. The first among the freshmen, he felt a wave of disdain. It was already his. Who could compete with him? Scary. Some readers are threatening to send me razor blades. I need a cigarette to calm myself down. Send me some recommendation tickets. Don't send me razor blades. Ha ha ha. Another chapter will be added at night. Chapter 39. It was almost nighttime. Su Yan began to cultivate. He had just found a treasure cave in the Contribution Point Illustrated Handbook. Cultivating in the cave for a day would cost 500 contribution points. Su Yan was excited. 500 contribution points a day. Without a doubt, the treasure cave was used to break through to the next realm. One had to pay a huge price to cultivate in the cave, and the higher one's cultivation level, the more contribution points one would need. 500 contribution points were the lowest. The Life Spring realm required 1,000 contribution points. If an expert like Jing Yang Wei cultivated in the cave, he would need 5,000 contribution points. Su Yan's body glowed. As he circulated the Initiation Sutra, his meridians undulated. His body glowed, and all the pores on his body opened up. As he inhaled, his meridians recovered. He inhaled mouthful after mouthful, and with every breath his meridians grew. The essence of heaven and earth drifted out from the cave and rapidly gathered in Su Yan's body. At this moment, Su Yin felt like he was being crushed by the essence of heaven and earth. The essence of heaven and earth contained in the cave was too vigorous. His entire body began to tremble in excitement, greedily absorbing the massive amount of energy in the cave, refining qi into essence. With the body as a furnace, one could seize the fortune of heaven and earth and refine the divine energy required by the body, constantly strengthening it. The path of cultivation, the qi refining method, surged with divine energy throughout his limbs and bones, nourishing his flesh, bones, and organs. The human body, through awakening, possessed potential. This potential was like countless small spaces hidden within the human body. The Initiation Sutra described that the human body contained millions of immortal treasures. When all of them were opened, the human body would climb to the peak and look down on the universe. The potential of Su Yan's body merged with his body. Under the nourishment of the essence of heaven and earth, Su Yan's aura began to strengthen. He had to admit that the divine energy contained in the cave was too vigorous. What he regretted was that the energy in the cave was too violent. With Su Yan's strength, he was unable to enter the cave and extract the liquefied essence. However, this was enough to satisfy his current cultivation level. He hoped that the limit of the awakening realm would bring him surprises. Whoa! His chest rose and fell. At the moment of rumbling, the source of qi and blood burned. Even his chest was glowing. Under the nourishment of the essence of heaven and earth, the source of qi and blood began to strengthen. The source of qi and blood was equivalent to the life spring of a human body, the source of qi and blood. His devouring speed was astonishing, and the dragon totem was also constantly plundering. Su Yin was at ease and allowed him to plunder. The more the dragon totem plundered, the faster Su Yin absorbed. A strange scene appeared in the room. Streaks of heaven and earth essence flew out from the treasure cave and gathered toward Su Yin. At the same time, Su Yin was also cultivating his soul. He realized that the speed of cultivating his soul at night was very fast, and he could use the soul refining technique to absorb the essence of the sun and moon. Early in the morning, the rosy glow of the morning sun shone in all directions. The entire Huaxia University was dazzling. Clouds rolled over and over, creating a sacred atmosphere. Look! Many older students woke up early in the morning and stood at the peak of Hidden Dragon Mountain. They gazed into the distance and stared at the Golden Disciples' training grounds, the peak of Divine Dragon Mountain. That was a shadow that had awakened in an instant. His long black hair draped over his shoulders, and he wore a long golden robe. His whole body was emitting a domineering aura. Suddenly, his eyes opened and emitted a golden radiance. The moment his aura rippled out, it was as if he was bathed in golden divine flames. The moment the vacuum behind him collapsed, the resplendent golden light illuminated the entire divine dragon mountain. Wave after wave of primordial aura erupted, accompanied by overflowing divine splendor. What was this? It was as if a divine bird that had been hibernating in the universe had awakened. It had 3 legs, and its body seemed to be cast from gold. It was as if a living primordial golden crow had been born. It was as if a primordial vicious bird had come into being. It was as blazing as a small condensed sun. Boom! This was the golden crow diagram, but it was as if a living golden crow had awakened on its own. It spat out the rosy glow of the morning sun and was even absorbing the sun's true flames. Oh my God! Many new students roared fervently. This is too terrifying. As expected of our Huaxia University's eldest senior brother. Jiang Wuhan, Jiang Wuhan, Jiang Wuhan, I love you. Many girls screamed, their eyes full of worship. This was Huaxia University's strongest genius, Zhu Yan's disciple. Rumor had it that Jiang Wuhan had awakened the bloodline of the primordial golden crow. Jiang Wuhan stood at the peak of Divine Dragon Mountain with his hands behind his back. At this moment, he looked like a golden crow god overlooking all living beings. Su Yin stared at Jiang Wuhan. The sun's true flames could be absorbed? This was a little unbelievable. Zhu Yan's disciple. Zhu Yan muttered to himself. He returned to his room with a heavy heart and went into seclusion to cultivate. In the deepest part of Huaxia University, in an ancient palace unearthed from ancient ruins, a shadow sat cross-legged. His eyes opened. Xiaozhe stared at Jiang Wuhin with a serious expression. If Zhu Yan's disciple was so strong, then how strong was Zhu Yan now? Jiang Wuhin's appearance was a huge blow to these arrogant new students. Only Tang Yingjie felt that only with his lightning Dao would he be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with peerless geniuses like Jiang Wuhin in the future. Su Yin cultivated until noon when he opened the door. Every time it was noon, a steward would deliver food. Huaxia University's food should be very good. Su Yin carried the food box into the room. After opening it, a fragrant smell assailed his nostrils. It was filled with precious ingredients, the meat of lord-level vicious beasts. Su Yin had eaten Beast King meat before, so he really didn't care about these things. His gaze was focused on the rice. It was a big bowl of rice, and each grain was sparkling and translucent. They were blood-red in color, and each grain looked like a beautiful blood jade. It's true, it's blood corn. This kind of rice is very difficult to buy outside, but Huaxia University provides it every day. Legend has it that if this type of blood corn was eaten 100 years ago, it could strengthen the physique of a 70 or 80-year-old man, extend his life, and strengthen the blood and qi in the body. After eating it for a year, one would be full of vigor and vitality. Su Yin was amazed. He picked up the bowl and chopsticks and ate a few mouthfuls of the blood corn. Sure enough, after the blood corn was digested, it emitted waves of heat. This was the energy contained in the blood corn, and it could strengthen the physique. Huaxia University's chef is not bad, but it's a pity that there's too little blood corn. Su Yin wolfed down the food and patted his belly. 1 or 2 meals wouldn't make a difference, but if he ate this kind of food every day, the difference would be obvious in a few years. Huaxia University's supply of blood corn was limited. There were even rice that was better than blood corn that had been dug out from ancient ruins. But it was a pity that the current environment was unable to grow this kind of rice. It required an even more vigorous heaven and earth essence, and even rare soil to grow it. Su Yin continued cultivating, and 3 days passed in a row. He had swallowed a large amount of heaven and earth essence, and his blood and qi source continued to strengthen. The first step of the initial sutra was to cultivate the heaven and earth furnace. Once it was cultivated, his blood and qi source would be so strong that it could be called a burning furnace. With the body as the foundation, the blood and qi as the fire. Su Yan's current body was still some distance away from the large success heaven and earth furnace, but he was a little confused. He still couldn't feel the limits of his potential. Someone's here. Su Yan's expression changed slightly. He ran into the living room and closed the door. At this time, the door was pushed open, and a tall man with bronze skin walked in. His hair was messy, and his face was full of vicissitudes of life. Teacher Yuan. Su Yan hurriedly greeted. Yuan's eyes looked at Su Yan. At this moment, Su Yan's hair stood on end, and he felt as if he had been seen through. His heart trembled. Yuan's strength was definitely very strong, and he was different from the rumors. Oh no, I've been discovered by teacher. Yuan's eyes moved away from Su Yan, and he stared unblinkingly at the tightly shut door of the living room. Teacher, Su Yan didn't know how to explain. He didn't know if Yuan would report this to the academy. After all, the treasure cave was too important. Yuan appeared at the door of the living room. He pushed the door open and saw the treasure cave that was gushing with heaven and earth essence. A strange look flashed in his eyes. He looked at the surging tide of energy in the treasure cave, and even the countless liquefied essence. Su Yan was extremely anxious. Yuan's aura suddenly became terrifying. He stretched out his palm, and Su Yan jumped in fright. He could faintly hear the roars of dragons and tigers coming from Yuan's body. What was this? The aura of dragons and tigers. And his meridians were like dragons and tigers. Su Yan was tongue-tied. Yuan's body was too shocking. His meridians were like dragons and tigers. If word got out, it would shock everyone. Even some life spring experts couldn't possibly have such a strong body. How terrifying! Yuan's palm was like a coiled, dragon-shaped beam of light. He chopped it down, causing the treasure cave to rumble. Layers of energy were torn apart by him, and the beam of light gathered to form an illusory dragon claw. Rip! Yuan retracted his palm, and the illusory dragon claw pulled out a large amount of liquefied essence. A pure white jade bottle appeared in Yuan's other hand. Su Yan's eyelids twitched. Teacher wanted to take away the liquefied essence? Fill his own pockets? In the next moment, Su Yan was stunned. A green wooden basin flew out of the jade bottle in a strange manner. Fuck! Su Yan jumped in fright. A basin could fly out of the jade bottle? The basin was made of precious wood, and the liquefied essence fell into the wooden basin. The basin was full of liquefied essence, and there were at least several thousand drops. This was already a huge amount of wealth. Yuan looked at Su Yan and said, "Swallow the liquefied essence every day. Don't overdo it." Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. Teacher was helping him hide the truth, and was even going to personally take out the liquefied essence for him to absorb and refine. "Teacher, what is this?" Su Yan stared at the jade bottle. How could something come out of it? Could it be a storage item from ancient myths and legends? Yuan didn't answer Su Yan. His aura changed once again and became even more terrifying than before. As his chest rose and fell, a series of low and terrifying tiger roars exploded. The entire room was about to explode. The aura of a beast king was overwhelming. At this moment, Yuan's aura reached the heavens. His two palms emitted an aura that could tear apart the heavens and earth. Cold sweat broke out on Su Yan's forehead. Facing off against Yuan, Su Yan's body was about to split apart. Yuan's aura was too fierce. It was like an ancient divine tiger had awakened, and it wanted to tear apart the heavens and split the seas. It wanted to crush Su Yan's spirit and will. Form Emil Fist's tiger stance. I will practice it for you once every day. If you can't master it in a month, you don't have the qualifications to be my student. Yuan left these words and left, leaving behind a petrified Su Yan. This is too domineering. The current Yuan was the complete opposite of the legends. Without talent, he didn't have the qualifications to waste his time teaching. After leaving the room, Yuan frowned. Wasn't a month too fast? Chapter 40. Su Yan sat cross-legged on the floor. Teacher Yuan's tiger form had been branded into his divine soul and would not dissipate for a long time. Whether it was the power, momentum, or moves, none of them were something that Su Yan's form and Emil Fist could compare to. With Yuan's personal demonstration, Su Yan's study of form and Emil Fist was a great help. He couldn't help but say, "Martial arts are truly important. If I can be like teacher Yuan and cultivate form and Emil Fist to such a degree, then my control of my own body will also rise to another level." Su Yan took out the form and Emil Fist manual and carefully studied it. He also carefully sensed the residual power in his divine soul. He digested it for a long time. The blood energy in his body suddenly rose and fell. The dormant blood energy source in his chest roared on its own. His body shone brilliantly, emitting a golden light that illuminated the dark room. In particular, Su Yan's hands were surrounded by golden light that faintly emitted the power of a beast king. The tiger form's power lies in its claws. It can be used to attack enemies. Su Yan gestured, his 5 fingers radiating light. But no matter how he gestured, it was difficult for him to erupt with the ferocious power of Yuan. If I can be like teacher Yuan, just my power alone will be enough to frighten my enemies to death. Su Yan silently spat out the heaven and earth essence from his treasure cave. Practicing martial arts consumed too much of his energy. He also constantly took out liquid origin energy to absorb. The energy contained within liquid origin energy was extremely pure. A night passed. Su Yan's control of the tiger form didn't improve much. But after absorbing so much liquid origin energy, the blood energy source in Su Yan's chest continued to grow. On this day, before the sun rose, Yuan came again. He evolved into the tiger form once more and then left. Su Yan bitterly smiled. His teacher really had a personality. He was only responsible for evolving the true meaning of martial arts and didn't say a single word about the detailed steps. Just like that, time passed, one day after another. With each passing day, Su Yan's blood essence grew a little stronger. His physique also strengthened. This basin of essence liquid was nearly completely refined by Su Yan. Of course, most of it had been completed by the dragon totem. At night, the candlelight in the room flickered. Su Yan looked exhausted. A whole 5 days had passed, and he had been practicing the tiger form diligently every day. However, the aura within Su Yan's body had changed. He was able to erupt with his strongest state at any time to face powerful enemies. He could not help but sigh at the benefits of resources. Without the support of abundant resources, he would not have been able to squander his physical strength so extravagantly. Su Yan's eyes were bloodshot. After 5 consecutive days of tempering, in addition to Yuan's constant use of the tiger form to intimidate Su Yan was extremely tired. This was equivalent to experiencing life and death 5 times in a row. Why can't I unleash the power of the tiger form like Master? Su Yan clenched his fists tightly. He had an exasperated look on his face. Trash, you haven't mastered it in 5 days. Master gave me a month. It's been 5 days, but I haven't made much progress. Although my control of the divine power in my body has improved, the Xingyi fist has not. That's not right. Suddenly, Su Yan's pupils shrank. The exhaustion on his face was swept away. He laughed loudly. Stupid. I'm really too stupid. Xingyi fist. This is Xingyi fist. Using qi to form. This is just the beginning of Xingyi fist. Mid-level mastery. Evolving the concept of Xingyi fist. This is Xingyi fist. Haha, so that's how it is. No wonder you've been simulating the strongest Xingyi fist to scare me these past few days. So you want me to remember the concept of Xingyi fist? Yes, that's how it is. Su Yan clenched his fists tightly and jumped up in excitement. His soul was much stronger than before. The soul tampering technique had tempered his primordial spirit day and night. Now it could finally be put to good use. Su Yan stood in the middle of the room with his eyes closed. His entire body began to relax. He began to relax. His breathing was very rhythmic. Slowly, Su Yan entered a state of selflessness. He could clearly feel that the soul in his frontal bone was like a small boat that was wandering in the ocean. Where's the sea? The sea was air, space, and the universe. The dark sea stretched as far as the eye could see. Su Yan seemed to be in a trance. He was visualizing. He was constantly visualizing the ferocious power of the Yuan, the power of the tiger form, the terror of the divine tiger, and the deterrence of the vicious beast. Gradually the sea shook. The aura that could tear the sky and split the sea gushed out. A golden divine tiger charged into the darkness. The aura it released illuminated the darkness. That's the feeling. Su Yan's eyes suddenly opened. From the inside out, his temperament had changed. This was the essence, qi, and spirit. This was willpower, the essence, qi, and spirit that he had been visualizing for an entire night burst out. The moment Su Yan erupted, his aura changed. He was like a martial arts master. Every move he made exuded the might of the Tiger King. Not bad. Just as Su Yan was immersed in his thoughts, Yuan stood in the room without him noticing. There was a hint of admiration in his eyes. Teacher, Su Yan was excited. For 5 whole days, Yuan did not smile at all. You're not stupid. Yuan waved his hand and said, You're considered a beginner. If you cultivate further, you can cultivate the tiger form. I see that your soul is very strong. Have you cultivated any soul cultivation technique? Su Yan nodded and explained everything in detail. Yuan should know about Tao Tianhua. Although I don't understand the soul cultivation technique, based on the strength of your soul, it should be a very good technique. Yuan did not care. He stared at Su Yin and said sternly, "What is the source of qi and blood in your body?" "The source of qi and blood, the lifeline of the body." The lifeline of the body. As Su Yin was carefully comprehending, Yuan's aura changed again. At this moment, he was extremely turbulent and terrifying. He was like a living top-notch beast king. His qi and blood were like dragons and tigers. Suddenly, he roared towards the sky. His chest rose and fell like a mountain flood. A pillar of light shot out from his mouth. It seemed like it could shoot up to the sky. So scary. Su Yin was extremely excited. His qi and blood also rose and fell. Although it was very different from Yuan's qi and blood, with the guidance of the initial sutra, it was not too difficult to control the source of qi and blood. "It's moving." His chest rumbled. The source of qi and blood flowed through his limbs and bones, flowing through his entire body. His body shone brightly, as if he was a god standing there. Not only that, the strong source of qi and blood could be used as Su Yan's qi and blood recovered, allowing him to explode with absolute power. When Su Yan opened his eyes for the second time, he realized that teacher Yuan had already left. Time passed day by day. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. On this day, the hidden dragon mountain caused quite a stir. Zhuo Wenyao has stepped into the life spring stage. With his potential, the life spring that he has opened must be extremely powerful. With the vice principal protecting him and his talent, Zhuo Wenyao will definitely soar. It's said that Zhuo Wenyao has obtained an ancient cultivation technique. The first new student to step into the life spring stage attracted a lot of attention, especially the vice principal's disciples. When they saw Zhuo Wenyao begin to challenge the Tower of Trials, they were all shocked. They did not know how many levels he would reach. This continued until nighttime, when a piece of news came out that made some of the older students speechless. He has reached the 4th level. Zhuo Wenyao is really scary. Even some of the older students have been suppressed. I wonder how many levels Tung Yingjie will reach when he challenges the tower. Hearing the discussions of the disciples passing by, Tung Yingjie snorted. "It's only the 4th level. In this batch, only Zhuo Wenyao is my opponent. Wait until I step into the life spring stage. Zhuo Wenyao, you can take a good look at me." Hee, with Senior Yingjie's physique, I think even Zhuo Wenyao is no match for you. Chang Lingyu giggled. Her attitude towards Su Yin was completely different. "Of course," Tung Yingjie said proudly. He then sneered. "I asked you to pay attention to Mingyu these few days. What's the result?" Senior Yingjie, Bai Xingyuan, has not allowed her to take a single step out these few days. Chang Lingyu was very jealous. As for Su Yin, he definitely won't dare to take half a step closer to Bai Minjing. I think he knows how powerful I am now. I didn't give him any face the last time. I don't think he would dare. What kind of teacher is he Yuan? Tung Yingjie said disdainfully. And the Bai clan, they definitely know that I, Tung Yingjie, will be a prodigy in the future. Recently, the older generation of the Bai clan has been very close to our Tang clan. It had been half a month since they entered the mountain gates. Some of the new students had also started to come out. Su Yin had been smiling bitterly behind closed doors. After half a month, his mastery of the tiger form had improved by leaps and bounds. What surprised him was that his physical body was constantly training in the Xingyi fist, causing his cultivation to improve very quickly. If it wasn't for the fact that his soul was being depleted too quickly, his improvement would have been even greater. Teacher Yuan. When Su Yin saw the person who had arrived, he hurriedly went over to greet him. His attitude was very respectful. Yuan nodded. When he noticed that the liquefied elemental essence had been depleted, he frowned and said, "Did you absorb all of this by yourself?" "No, I only absorbed a small portion." Just as Su Yin finished speaking, Yuan's eyes flashed with a strange light. He said, "Punch me. Remember, don't use the source of your blood and qi." Just as he finished speaking, Su Yan's palm instantly stretched out. His blood and qi surged out. At this moment, Su Yin was incomparably powerful. His flesh shell emitted a powerful force. The faint sound of 1,000 horses galloping could be heard. This punch landed solidly on Yuan's arm. However, Yuan's arm didn't move at all. However, a trace of astonishment flashed in his eyes. He quickly disappeared and said, "From now on, you are not allowed to use your strongest strength. If you use it, just say that you have learned my body refining technique." Su Yin scratched his head. He was a little puzzled. "Have you felt the limit of your potential?" Yuan's words were exactly what Su Yin wanted to know. Seeing him shake his head, Yuan took a deep breath and slowly said, "Do you feel that something is wrong with your cultivation during this period of time?" "Teacher, I have been absorbing the liquefied elemental essence and the essence of heaven and earth these days. My progress has been relatively slow." Su Yin hurriedly said, "Is this the limit?" "No." Yuan shook his head. "It's not the limit. The limit is different from what you described. It's because your physical body needs more nourishment." Yuan said indifferently, "I've read in some ancient books that in ancient times, the cultivation civilization was prosperous. The resources of that era were very rich. There were all kinds of ancient variant blood, origin essence stones, and rare divine mineral liquefied elemental essences. There was an inexhaustible supply. At the moment of initial awakening, the strongest resources would be used to nurture their battle physique. The potential of the physical body is limitless. Only by using the strongest resources can one cultivate the world-shaking battle physique." Yuan yearned for this era. Su Yin smacked his lips. Even Huaxia University didn't have this kind of resources. At this time, Yuan took out the bottle that Su Yin coveted. He took out 4 jars and said, "Drink this." Su Yin was puzzled. He opened the first jar and was shocked. Chapter 41. Yuan pointed his finger, and the shattered fierce horse turned into drops of scarlet precious blood that sprinkled into the jar. "Teacher, what is this?" Su Yin was stunned. It was too mystical. Hearing this, Yuan said disapprovingly, "I created the Xing Yi Fist and observed the 4 great beast kings. These beast kings are different. They have ancient true blood in their bodies. This is the precious blood that I extracted from their bodies." "What?" Su Yin was shocked and quickly said, "Teacher, this is too precious. I can't accept it." Hearing this, Yuan frowned and said, "This item is useless to me. Immediately absorb and refine it." Su Yin felt a burst of warmth in his heart. Yuan's serious look made him not dare to say anything. He directly took the jar and drank it. This was ancient true blood. Although it was very little, when it gathered in Su Yan's body, it was as if his body was burning with a ball of fire. This ball of fire contained the might of the immemorial heavenly horse, and also the essence of the immemorial heavenly horse's true blood. His body was burning resplendently. All the pores on his body opened up, and every inch of his flesh was shining. Countless potential spaces opened up and greedily absorbed the essence of the true blood. It was unknown whether it was because Yuan was here or for some other reason, but the dragon totem did not awaken. However, Su Yan's bloodline had awakened. It absorbed the essence of the true blood and wanted to open the divine treasury. Although this jar of ancient true blood was very little, Su Yan's current body was enough to refine it for a long time. His road of awakening quickly erupted. His entire body was hazy with strands of terrifying charm. Although it was very vague, it was enough to shock Yuan. His blood and bones were nourished by the ancient true blood. The origin of his chi and blood was majestically erupting. At the same time, Su Yin was comprehending the power of the immemorial heavenly horse. He was also comprehending this martial art by comparing it to the Xing Yi Fist horse form. With this martial art, Su Yan's refining speed was continuously increasing. "I want to see how strong he can be." In this half a month, he has been cultivating the tiger form. His foundation is already solid. Yuan did not leave. He had been watching Su Yan's refining. This jar of ancient true blood was refined by Su Yin for 3 days and 3 nights. "Continue drinking." Yuan opened the second jar. A giant bear roared toward the sky. The second jar of primordial true blood was quickly refined by Su Yin. The divine aura emanating from his body continued to recover. This divine aura seemed to be involuntarily emanating from Su Yan's body. He was like a peerless war god that reigned supreme in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Why do I feel a wisp of dragon might? Yuan stared at Su Yan. He was trying to comprehend Su Yan's divine charm. This sort of terrifying divine charm could not be comprehended, but the divine charm contained a trace of dragon's might. This caused Yuan to be excited. He was a martial arts fanatic. The dragon form he created was not perfect. Now, Su Yan's body was quietly emitting dragon's might. This caused Yuan to seriously comprehend it. Time passed day after day. The new students of Hidden Dragon Mountain had been here for almost a month. What surprised them was that Zhuo Wenyao had actually passed the 5th level. Could it be that he was the greatest dark horse? Could he suppress the thunder physique? Su Yin was refining the 4th jar of ancient true blood. This was the most ferocious. Yuan speculated that it contained a portion of the ancient divine beast white tiger's divine blood. This jar was very precious. Su Yin had refined it for 5 days and 5 nights. Now his strength was terrifying. Every time he breathed, his chi and blood would rumble. It was like a dragon and tiger roaring. He possessed the aura of a dragon and tiger. Not yet. Yuan was moved. He said, "Let's talk about it after you have refined the body accumulating pill. You should rest for a few days. I have something to do when I return." Su Yin pondered. He indeed did not feel his limit. His strength had increased by so much. Su Yin felt that he had already surpassed Zhu Yan's strength of 1,000 horses. Am I the same as teacher? Can't I open my life springs? Su Yin frowned and muttered to himself, "This is also good. I have the initial scripture. I don't need to worry about the cultivation technique. Moreover, I have not completed the first stage of the initial scripture. My chi and blood source is still lacking." He did not stay idle. He practiced the 4 fist techniques of Xing Yi. He knew that Yuan still had other absolute arts. The dragon form that he had created had harsh requirements. His own chi and blood was not enough to support the circulation of the dragon form. Su Yin was looking forward to seeing how strong the dragon form was. After another 2 days, Su Yin stood up and left. Today was the day to collect the body accumulating pill. Zhuo Wenyao has reached the 5th level. When he passed by the hidden dragon ranking, Su Yin thought to himself, "I wonder how many levels I can reach. I'll try again later." The alchemy room was not far from the hidden dragon mountain. After Su Yin went down the mountain, he looked around and saw the alchemy room. There were fewer people in the alchemy room. There were rows of rooms surrounded by the fragrance of pills. I wonder if Lin Wanlan has become a Tier 2 alchemist. Lin Wanlan was cultivating in this alchemy room. Su Yin did not dare to wander around. He found a guard and asked, then rushed to the alchemy room. After pushing open the door and entering, Su Yin saw a manager. He reported his name. The manager was very surprised. The body accumulating pill was too rare. It was a Tier 3 pill. "Wait here." The manager was very polite. He asked Su Yin to sit down and went into the alchemy room. After a while, he took out the pill and gave it to Su Yin. He said, "Remember, this pill can only be used by you. You cannot give it to others." "I know." Su Yin nodded and opened the jade bottle. He saw that there was a dazzling golden elixir inside. He was delighted. This was the body accumulation elixir. With this body accumulation elixir, his cultivation would increase again. Su Yin. At this moment, a fragrance came. Su Yin turned his head and saw a tall and sexy beauty. Lin Wanlan's delicate face flashed with joy. Her forehead was covered with sweat. "Lin Wanlan." Su Yin laughed and said, "I didn't expect to meet you. How was it? Did you succeed?" "I just succeeded. Otherwise, I would have gone to find you." Lin Wanlan was very happy. She smiled and said, "Also, Vice Dean Lu Chengtian accepted me as a student. I am now a Tier 2 alchemist. If you want to refine pills in the future, remember to find me. I will give you a free, oh no, a discount." Su Yin helplessly shrugged. Just as he was about to speak, a strange laughter sounded. "Beauty, don't be fooled by him. This brat is always flirting. Be careful not to be tricked by him. Don't look at him as a core disciple. In fact, he is not much. He is also a student of Yuan. Yuan? Lin Wanlan's eyes flashed with a trace of horror. Her beautiful eyes stared at Tang Yingjie. The other party's words made Lin Wanlan angry. She shouted, "Who are you? How can the alchemy room allow you to trespass? You don't know me?" Tang Yingjie almost doubted his life. Who in Huaxia University didn't know about Tang Yingjie? "Miss Wanlan, let me introduce you. This is Tang Yingjie, Lei Lao's disciple." The manager quickly smiled and said, "Tang Yingjie, this is Vice Dean Lu Chengtian's student." "What?" Tang Yingjie almost cursed. What kind of luck did this Su Yin have? Who was Lu Chengtian? His students were all Tier 2 alchemists. Su Yin could actually become friends with her. Let's go." Lin Wanlan didn't care who Tang Yingjie was. When Su Yin was about to leave, Tang Yingjie quickly said, "Wait, Su Yin, my teacher wants to see you." "Your teacher wants to see me?" Su Yin was stunned. "That's right. He wants to see you now." Tang Yingjie greedily looked at the pill bottle in Su Yan's hand and said in a heavy tone, "He said it's urgent." Su Yan frowned. Tang Yingjie wasn't stupid enough to talk nonsense. "I'll go with you." Lin Wanlan was still worried and said, "You lead the way." "Okay." Just as he finished speaking, Tang Yingjie staggered and almost fell. She wanted him to lead the way? This made Tang Yingjie's face turn green. If it wasn't for Lu Qingtian, he would have already started cursing. Walking behind, Lin Wanlan frowned and said, "Su Yin, did you cause trouble?" Su Yin shook his head and said, "I don't know why Lei Lao wants to see me. We'll know when we see." "That's true. Even if you caused trouble, you wouldn't alert the Vice Dean." Lin Wanlan nodded and said in surprise, "Yuan actually accepted you as a disciple." Su Yin wanted to explain that Yuan was different from the rumors, but Lin Wanlan said enviously, "Others don't know Yuan, but I know him. Yuan's teacher and my teacher know each other. I heard from my teacher that Xia Zhe wanted to take him as a disciple." "What did you say?" Su Yan's eyes widened. Yuan was Xia Zhe's disciple? Xia Zhe was the dean of the academy. "It's true," Lin Wanlan said in a low voice. "Very few people know about this. I heard that Yuan rejected him. I don't know the exact reason." "Oh my god, my teacher is too awesome." Su Yan's mouth twitched. He rejected Xia Zhe's offer to take him as a disciple. At this time, they came to an important place. Su Yan saw a large hall from afar. There were some traces of lightning on the whole hall, as if some kind of mysterious Tao mark was hibernating. "Lin Wanlan, wait here. I'll bring Su Yin in." Lin Wanlan nodded. After all, she was Lei Lao. She couldn't barge in without orders. Su Yin entered with Tang Yingjie with a puzzled face. This was the second time he met Lei Lao, and he was very enthusiastic. This was the vice dean of Huaxia University. Now, he was asking Su Yin about his cultivation. He even made tea for Su Yin to taste. Su Yan's head was about to explode. He stood up and said, "Vice Dean, if you have anything to say, just tell me." Hearing this, Lei Lao smiled. His eyes were very small and narrowed into slits. He smiled and said, "Have you received the body accumulation pills?" Su Yin had a bad premonition as he nodded. "Su Yin, I see that your body is very strong now. It seems that you don't need the body accumulation pills." Lei Lao smiled and said, "Look at Tang Yingjie. He was born with a thunder body. In the future, he will definitely be the pillar of the Huaxia Alliance. If his cultivation in the awakening realm is higher, his combat power will be stronger in the future." Lei Lao's face was full of pride. He then said righteously, "After all, Tang Yingjie has a thunder body. Look at us humans now. We live in deep water all day because there are too few strong people in the Huaxia Alliance. If you can contribute now, you will have a share of Tang Yingjie's achievements in the future. Su Yin, give me the body accumulation pills. I will compensate you." Chapter 42. Su Yin looked around. The entire hall was richly ornamented, magnificent, and had a noble atmosphere. The decorations in the room were all carved from the best quality jade. If any one of them were to be sold, It would be enough for the commoners to live a carefree life for several years. Su Yin really couldn't see Lei Long living in an abyss of suffering. He had seen Tao Tianhua's shamelessness, but Su Yin really didn't expect that the vice dean of Huaxia University, Lei Lao, would actually take his body accumulation pill. Su Yin looked at Lei Long's righteous expression and could not help but feel a sense of disgust in his heart. I'm sorry, Lei Lao, but the body accumulation pill is also useful to me, so I can't give it to you for the time being, Su Yin replied. The smile on Lei Lao's face froze. He was the vice dean of Huaxia University, and this was the first time he was so hospitable to a new student, but Su Yin didn't give him any face. Su Yin, what's with your attitude? Teng Ying's face changed, and he stared and said, The vice dean has spoken, and you actually responded to him with such a tone? Have you thought it through? Do you know who owns Huaxia University? Huaxia University belongs to the people of the world. Su Yan's eyes flashed with a cold light, and he coldly shouted, It was fought for by the older generation. It's not only a college, but also a sacred and solemn place of the Huaxia Alliance. It doesn't belong to an individual. Su Yan, are you trying to reason with me? Teng Yingjie said angrily. The people of the world? What do those barbarians know? Without Lei Long in Huaxia University, mankind would have been destroyed long ago. Shut up. Lei Lao was enraged. His eyes spewed out terrifying lightning that tore through the sky. It was unknown whether he was targeting Teng Yingjie or Su Yan. Teng Yingjie was so shocked that he didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Lei Lao's face was ashen. He looked at Su Yan and said in a low voice, Su Yan, you're right. The world belongs to the people of the world. But if there are no strong people among the people of the world, do you think the Huaxia Alliance will still exist? Yeah. Su Yan, why don't you tell us? Teng Yinghua couldn't help but say, I am born with a thunder body, which belongs to the strongest special physique. I can control thunder and lightning. Now I need a body accumulation pill to enhance my potential again. Do you think your potential can be compared with mine? I'm really sorry, but the body accumulation pill was given to me by the Academy. I won't give it to anyone else. The Academy also has rules. Su Yan suppressed the anger in his heart and spoke indifferently. Su Yan, Lei Lao said loudly, you don't have to care about the Academy's rules. After all, it's a matter of great importance. It's related to the growth of the pillar of the Huaxia Alliance in the future. The Academy can't say anything. If Teng achieves something in the future, I will also praise you for your contribution to the Huaxia Alliance. Of course, I can give you some prizes now. Lei Lao took out a wooden box. After opening it, there was a blood-colored ginseng inside. He smiled as if he was coaxing a child and said, This is a 300-year-old blood ginseng. I don't understand what Elder Lei is saying. Su Yan didn't even look at the blood ginseng. He sneered and said, Does the Huaxia Alliance lack a body accumulation pill? I don't understand. Why do I have to pay a body accumulation pill? Also, Su Yan, am not a saint. And this blood ginseng, Lei Lao, please take it back. I don't deserve it. Su Yan cupped his hands and said, Goodbye, Lei Lao. Su Yan turned around and left. Teng Yingjie's eyes flashed with a fierce light. When he wanted to capture Su Yan, he was stopped by Lei Lao. Lu Qingtian's disciple was outside, and the body accumulation pill was refined by Lu Qingtian. He didn't want things to get out of hand. Teacher, you let him go just like that. Teng Yingjie couldn't swallow this anger. What do you want to do? Kill him and take away the pill? I didn't expect Su Yan to be able to keep his composure in front of me. Lei Lao's face was very ugly. No matter what, he was still the vice dean. However, Su Yan didn't give him any face. This made Lei Lao very angry. He felt that Teng Yingjie could still improve with the body accumulation pill. He should be able to step into the power of 900 horses. Su Yan walked out and took a deep breath. He stood on top of the mountain and looked down at the entire Huaxia University. His eyes were fixed on the hidden dragon ranking. He clenched his fist. Without talent, who would look up to you? This world hasn't changed at all. Su Yan sneered in his heart. The rules are always created by the strong. Su Yan, what happened? Lin Wanlan asked with concern. After all, Su Yan was a freshman. What did he have that was worth Lei Lao's inquiry? Hearing this, Su Yin withdrew his gaze and looked at Lin Wanlan's concerned face. He smiled and said, "It's no big deal. It's already over. I haven't congratulated you for becoming a level 2 alchemist." Lin Wanlan's face was full of smiles. This was her dream, especially to become Lu Qingtian's student. In the future, she had hopes of becoming a level 3 alchemist. Looking at Su Yan's appearance, he should have failed. Fortunately, he failed. Su Yan and Lin Wanlan didn't notice that two people had been following them. Tao Tianhua's forehead was covered in cold sweat. Even someone as arrogant as him was scared. If the pill was really taken away by Lei Lao, with Lei Lao's sharp eyes, he would definitely see that there was something wrong with the body accumulation pill. I didn't expect that Lei Lao would value his student so much that he even wanted to take the body accumulation pill. Tao Tianhua's words made Jing Yanghui's face almost distort. He angrily said, "It shouldn't be a problem to poison him to death, right?" Jing Yanghui was so angry that his heart and lungs were trembling. He didn't expect Lin Wanlan to be with Su Yin and even walk side by side. Jing Yanghui had been pursuing Lin Wanlan. This scene was unbearable for him. "Of course it's not a problem. I brought this poison from the ancient ruins. I still don't know what kind of poison it is." Tao Tianhua coldly smiled. Even a beast king can be poisoned to death. Now that the body accumulation pill has been contaminated with this poison, even 10 lives wouldn't be enough to kill Su Yin. Fortunately, he chose Yi Yuan as his teacher. Otherwise, it would be troublesome to kill him. Tao Tianhua really wanted to kill Su Yin. With the strength of 700 horses and the body accumulation pill, even if Su Yin chose Yi Yuan as his teacher, it wouldn't be difficult for him to step into the life spring realm in the future. When that day came, it would be even more difficult to kill Su Yin. Tao Tianhua was a Tier 2 alchemist and a gold disciple of the academy. He was also one of Lu Qingtian's students. He could secretly tamper with the pill and spend some effort to do so. Su Yin didn't stay in the alchemy room for long. He said goodbye to Lin Wanlan and returned to Hidden Dragon Mountain. I don't know how strong the body accumulation pill is, but if it can make Lei Lao put aside his face to fight for it, it must be extraordinary. He also asked about the body accumulation pill. Lin Wanlan knew a lot about pills. The biggest use of this pill was to nurture the body. This pill was very important to awaken ones. Tung Yingjie hadn't awakened yet, so Lei Lao must be thinking of ways to help him increase his potential. Of course, the ancient true blood could also be used to increase one's potential, but it was far from being as gentle as the body accumulation pill. Ordinary physiques couldn't withstand the tempering of the ancient true blood. There was a jar of ancient true blood worth 100,000 contribution points in the treasury. Yi Yuan said that this jar was worth more than the 4 jars he took out. It was worth 100,000 contribution points. Under normal circumstances, only Life Spring Realm experts would spend a lot of money to buy it. The 4 jars of ancient true blood that teacher gave me are worth at least 60,000 or 70,000 contribution points. This is a great fortune for teacher. Su Yin took a deep breath. His eyes flashed with coldness. He thought to himself, even Lei Lao looks down on teacher, but they don't know how strong my teacher is. Humph, when I challenge the Tower of Trials, I can't lose face for teacher. No matter what, I'll do my best. Su Yin came to his residence, pushed the door open, and walked in. He sat cross-legged in the treasure cave, inspecting the tide of energy emerging from the treasure cave. He smiled and said, "When I refine the body accumulation pill, I can break into the treasure cave and take the liquid. I can give it to teacher, or I can go to the Underground Merchant Union to buy treasures." Thinking of this, Su Yin frowned. It's a bit difficult. If someone finds out and the treasure cave is leaked, I'll be selling the school's resources. So I forget it. I'll think about it after I refine the body accumulation pill. Su Yin sat cross-legged, and a pale golden pill appeared in his hand. Su Yin directly ate the body accumulation pill. At this moment, when the pill entered his stomach, it suddenly shone with a golden light. It seemed to have spirituality, emitting wisps of golden brilliance that radiated into his flesh shell. At this moment, Su Yin seemed to be carved out of gold. His entire body was flowing with golden light. It was a very miraculous manifestation. The body accumulation pill's medicinal power was gentle, and Su Yin felt as if he was soaking in a hot spring. Moreover, there was no need to refine it. The body accumulation pill had already begun to automatically nourish Su Yan's body. This was the ability of a third-grade alchemist. It was completely different from the second-grade elixir refined by Lin Wanlan. After 2 or 3 rounds, he faintly felt that his entire body was wrapped in a mysterious energy. Gradually, this mysterious energy seeped into his bones and blood, into his flesh and blood, and into his internal organs. This was to nurture his body, nurture the divine power in his body, and nourish the space of awakening. Therefore, the body accumulation pill was most suitable for awakened ones, but not for masters of the life spring realm. Layer after layer of majestic medicinal power quickly spread throughout Su Yan's body. His aura climbed to the strongest level at lightning speed. Buzz! His whole body was shining with golden light. Under the nourishment of the body accumulation pill, Su Yan's body began to strengthen, as if he had eaten a strengthening stone. Hour after hour passed. With every hour, Su Yan's body became stronger. After a whole day, Su Yan felt that his body had changed. It was a kind of strength that was like a rock. This surprised him. His body was as hard as a rock and full of tyrannical strength. The medicinal power of the body accumulation pill was amazing. No wonder Lei Lao was so thick-skinned to snatch the body accumulation pill. When the medicinal power of the body accumulation pill is completely exhausted, I like to see how strong my body can be. The medicinal power of the body accumulation pill was mild, and it would take at least 3 days to completely consume it. Calculating the time, he should have taken the body accumulation pill. Nearby, Ma Zhoushan was hiding in the bamboo forest. He looked at Su Yan's room with sinister eyes and said coldly, Su Yin, I'd like to see what secrets you're hiding. When we were in the wilderness, your strength was no more than 300 horses. But you've changed so much in just a few months. Who would believe you if you didn't have a chance? I didn't tell Tao Tianhua about you. When you die, all the opportunities will be mine. Chapter 43. The next day, Su Yin was still absorbing the energy of the body accumulation pill. Golden light flowed all over his body, and his body rippled with vigorous power, causing the vacuum to faintly distort. This was the embodiment of a strong physical body. In the past 2 days, he had absorbed most of the medicinal power of the body accumulation pill, and now there was not much left. He had changed from the inside to the outside. Just as Su Yin was immersed in the pleasure of increasing his strength, his face changed, and his skin turned pale black. What is this? Su Yin's scalp went numb. Waves of death aura rose in his body, almost causing his soul to scatter. A fatal threat attacked Su Yan's mind. He quickly looked inside with his god soul, and his face suddenly turned ugly. His entire body was filled with the aura of death, and wisps of black gas were flowing in his body. He could see that under the corrosion of this black gas, the human body's functions were beginning to weaken. Oh no, there's poison in the body accumulation pill. It's Lei Lao's doing. It can't be Lei Lao's doing. After all, I have no enmity with Lei Lao, and it's impossible for it to be Tang Jie. Could it be Tao Tianhua? Su Yin instantly thought of him. He was a student in the alchemy room, and even a gold student. Without extraordinary energy, who could come into contact with the body accumulation pill? Tao Tianhua. Su Yin clenched his fists, but the toxins in his body made Su Yan's life almost come to an end. No, refine it. Su Yan's eyes widened in anger, and the Inception scripture instantly began to circulate. At this moment, his body recovered, and his vigorous qi and blood were like a flood bursting through a dam, crushing the toxins in his body overwhelmingly. However, this toxin was very shocking. Under the suppression of Su Yan's divine power, the black gas gathered into one, emitting a terrifying aura, like a giant beast that could devour the sky. Could it be an ancient poison? Cold sweat broke out on Su Yan's back. This poison was too shocking. The destructive aura that permeated the air caused the divine power and Su Yan's body to collapse and disintegrate. It was as if a black abyss was awakening and was about to devour Su Yan's life. Su Yan was seething with anger. He burned his essence, energy, and spirit to the extreme, releasing a terrifying aura. The beginning sutra circulated to the extreme like lightning. His heart was rumbling like a heavenly drum, like a Tao bell, like the immortal sound of the great Tao exploding. The beginning scripture erupted to an unprecedented limit. At this moment, Su Yan's physical body changed. Divine energy leaked out as he constructed a divine furnace to seize the fortunes of heaven and earth. Refine for me. His flesh shell was burning like a divine furnace. The source of his chi and blood turned into the furnace fire, refining the creation of heaven and earth. Even if it was an ancient poison, in front of the initial scripture, it was completely destroyed by the terrifying power of the initial scripture. Even the countless toxins in the black liquid turned into black energy and spread throughout his limbs and bones. Su Yan was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. Of course, he could refine it. However, the black poison contained an extremely powerful destructive force that could destroy the bodily functions of the human body. Su Yan gritted his teeth and suppressed the intense pain spreading throughout his body. He concealed his spirit and chi and used the beginning sutra to refine the ancient poison. This process was extremely slow. An entire day passed, and Su Yan felt like he was living in purgatory, struggling in the gates of hell. However, at night, the ancient poison finally began to dissolve. It turned into divine energy that had great miraculous effects on him. Layer after layer, it was suffused with extremely terrifying divine energy, treasured liquid. Buzz! Su Yan's body became much more resplendent. His eyes flashed with ecstasy because this energy was too astonishing. It was as if he had eaten 10 great tonics. The ancient poison had turned into a black liquid. However, the moment the black liquid completely penetrated his body, Su Yan almost roared out in pain. His entire body felt as if it was being slashed by 10,000 swords. Of course, the black liquid could be used for cultivation, but the medicinal liquid was too tyrannical. It was like a black ocean was washing through his body, almost tearing his flesh shell apart. Su Yan's pores were constantly spewing out blood. Blood was seeping out, accompanied by black bone fragments. This made Su Yan ecstatic. He roared, "Haha, I'm rich. I'm being reborn." This was a great opportunity, an extremely terrifying great opportunity. He speculated that this was some kind of rare and terrifying body refinement item, but it contained a strange poison. After being refined by the beginning sutra, it began to help Su Yan be reborn. The process was extremely painful and unbearable. Su Yan concealed his spirit and chi and guided the beginning sutra to refine the black liquid. His bones were cracking, and his internal organs were on the verge of shattering. The process was too unbearable. Su Yan clenched his teeth because he discovered that his body was mutating. The night passed. In the early morning, Su Yan's body was crackling, and his pores were spewing out even more impurities. But at this moment, he woke up. His body was filled with a terrifying divinity, filled with a terrifying aura, and filled with an extremely domineering energy source. Terrifying and powerful. This was Su Yan's feeling. He was like a dormant primordial beast that was about to tear apart the blue dome of heaven. Even his blood vessels were being nourished by the black liquid. Su Yan faintly felt that he was about to touch the bloodline divine treasure. Someone's here. Su Yan's eyes flashed with a trace of coldness. His spirit came out of his body and sensed that Ma Zhoushan had arrived. Su Yan wanted to stand up, but he instantly fell to the ground. When he closed his eyes, a trace of cold, killing intent flashed, and he held his breath. Creak! Ma Zhoushan pushed open the door. He was somewhat nervous. Trespassing into a core disciple's residence was a capital offense. Ma Zhoushan wasn't even a core disciple, so his crime was even greater. Ma Zhoushan observed the room for a while, then pushed open the door to the living room. The surging essence energy emitted from the room stunned Ma Zhoushan. He saw the boundless essence energy of heaven and earth gushing out from the treasure cave, and there were even countless amounts of liquefied elemental essence inside. Ma Zhoushan fiercely slapped himself. The pain assaulted him, and he was stunned for a while. He was so excited that his whole body trembled. He exclaimed, "Heavens, there's a treasure cave inside!" Ma Zhoushan was so excited that he almost danced with joy. Huaxia University controlled no more than 10 treasure caves. But in Su Yan's residence, there was a treasure cave with a huge amount of liquefied elemental essence. I never thought that I, Ma Zhoushan, would have such a day. Ha ha! Ma Zhoushan was so excited that he almost fainted. He saw the unconscious Su Yan, the blood on the ground, and even the broken bones, but he couldn't sense any signs of life from Su Yan. Without a doubt, Su Yan was already dead. My chance! Ha ha ha, my chance! Ma Zhoushan was so excited that he was going crazy. Everything was too shocking and unexpected. Whether it was the treasure cave or Su Yan's treasures, everything was about to fall into his hands. He couldn't help but fantasize about the future. It's really Tao Tianhua. Su Yan didn't move, but his heart was filled with killing intent. If he didn't get rid of this person, he wouldn't be able to vent the hatred in his heart. But this time, if it wasn't for Tao Tianhua's poisoning, Su Yan wouldn't be where he was today. Thinking of this, he laughed in his heart. If Tao Tianhua didn't know about this, his expression would be very interesting. I'll take you away first and hand you over to Tao Tianhua. The news of Su Yan's death won't be leaked for a while. I can occupy this residence first. 3 months is enough for me to use the treasure cave to raise my cultivation level, or even higher. Ma Zhoushan walked towards Su Yan and sneered. Kid, I can only say that your fate is bad. Your chance is mine. But don't worry, I'll take everything from you. If one day I can surpass Tao Tianhua, I won't mind teaching him a lesson. His hand slowly reached towards Su Yan. When his hand was about to touch Su Yan's neck, his eyes suddenly opened. His eyes rippled with a peerless, ferocious aura. You! Ma Zhoushan was shocked, but Su Yan's open eyes were also filled with a monstrous martial aura. He was like a divine tiger descending to the mortal realm, exuding the aura of a king of beasts that could shatter rivers and mountains. Ma Zhoushan's eyes were filled with fear, and his brain short-circuited. It was also at this moment that Su Yan slapped his hands on the ground and stood up. His entire body had recovered, and layer after layer of blood and chi energy gushed out, illuminating the entire room with a dazzling light. Wong! Su Yan's aura was completely different. His body was so terrifying that it could be said to be made of divine iron. His hand shot out like lightning, forming a fist and smashing towards Ma Zhoushan. This fist was as fast as lightning, and accompanied by a shocking recovery of strength, it smashed into Ma Zhoushan's chest. Kacha! Ma Zhoushan's chest caved in completely, and a shocking force penetrated his body. His back was shaken, and blood spurted out. Pooh! Ma Zhoushan coughed out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. His eyes were filled with horror. Impossible! Ma Zhoushan roared uncontrollably, and at the same time, he hurriedly recovered the strength in his body to resist Su Yan. But Su Yan's movements were too fast. His entire body was filled with divinity, and the moment his blood and chi energy roared, he pounced forward, accompanied by a tiger's roar. Kill! Su Yan roared. His eyes were filled with murderous intent, and his hands were filled with the might of a beast king. At this moment, Su Yan was in his strongest state. As he pounced forward, the divine energy in his body gushed out in an instant. The divine tiger shot out from Su Yan's body, tearing apart the sky and looking down at everything with disdain. This attack was too shocking. It was as if a mountain had crashed down on Ma Zhoushan, shattering the source of his strength. Ma Zhoushan didn't even have time to unleash his full strength. His eyes were filled with fear, and he could only watch as the fierce tiger charged towards him. His heart was filled with disbelief. He actually had the strength of a life spring cultivator, but he hadn't even stepped into the life spring stage. No less than the strength of 3,000 horses. Ma Joseon's heart was filled with fear, and his hands and feet were cold. He didn't know how far this young man would go in the future, but if news of 3,000 horses' strength were spread, the entire Huaxiao alliance would be shaken. Bam! The fierce tiger was unstoppable, and Ma Joseon's body was torn apart, and his blood stained the sky. Chapter 44. Judging by the time, it should be about time, right? Tao Tianhua and Jing Yonghui were also secretly observing. They were standing in Su Yan's room and could see where he lived. Not good. At this moment, Tao Tianhua's expression changed. He saw Yuan suddenly appear here and immediately approach Su Yan's room. Jing Yonghui's expression also changed. This Yuan actually came. He better not ruin things. If the matter of the body accumulation pill is discovered, it will be troublesome. After all, he is a teacher. Once the higher-ups investigate, Lu Qingtian won't let this matter rest. Tao Tianhua's expression was very ugly. He didn't care about this. Huaxia University wouldn't interrogate him openly for the sake of their reputation. Moreover, he had Zhu Yin behind him, and Jiang Wuhan would also plead for him. What he was worried about was that Su Yin hadn't eaten the body accumulation pill yet. Now that Yuan had entered his room, the scene inside caused Yuan's expression to change slightly. "Teacher, this person wants to kill me," Su Yin hurriedly said. "Did you kill him?" Yuan looked at Su Yin. He discovered that Su Yin was somewhat different. His essence, energy, and spirit had changed, and there was a surging divinity in his body. He even noticed the broken bones and blood on the ground. His expression changed. Could it be that Su Yin had been reborn just now? Su Yin quickly explained the matter, and didn't hide the matter of the poison. What surprised Su Yin was that a ball of blazing flames emerged from Yuan's palm and spread to Ma Joseon's corpse. Under Su Yan's dumbfounded gaze, Ma Joseon was burned into a pile of ashes. Ancient strange poison. Yuan waved his hand nonchalantly and blew away the ashes. He frowned and said, "I don't think this is some kind of strange poison. It should be some kind of life essence blood of an ancient master. Because of the cultivation method, it carries poison." Yuan looked at Su Yin. He felt that this student was hiding some secrets. If he were to recklessly refine the blood essence of an ancient powerhouse, he would be playing himself to death. You should thank Tao Tianhua. Fortunately, he didn't use much poison. If he had used more, you wouldn't have been able to endure it. Yuan gave a rare smile. This is your opportunity. Since it can allow you to complete the first step of rebirth, it can be considered a powerful resource. It's not all about being reborn. Being reborn isn't something you can bear right now. Your foundation isn't strong enough yet. Su Yin nodded. The process just now was very painful. "Teacher, what about Ma Joseon?" Su Yin was still a little nervous. After all, he had killed someone. This wasn't a small matter. Hearing this, Yuan didn't care and said, "No one knows that he came here. Tao Tianhua won't admit it either. Huaxia University has one less person. It's normal." Hearing Yuan say this, Su Yin was relieved. Yuan then checked Su Yan's strength. After a moment of silence, he said, "Your strength has increased too much. Your foundation is a little unstable. The next step is to cultivate the dragon form. At the beginning of cultivation, you have to do it step by step. Don't rush. You are still young and have plenty of time to squander. The next task is to cultivate the dragon form and strengthen your blood essence. Focus on strengthening your soul. The soul tampering technique is not bad." Yuan's words made Su Yin suspicious. "The soul tampering technique isn't that good?" "You can't say that. The soul tampering technique is Huaxia University's top soul tampering technique. However, in the ancient world of cultivation, the soul tampering technique wasn't the best," Yuan said faintly, "but it's enough for you to cultivate your primordial spirit with the soul tampering technique. In the future, if you have the opportunity, you'll be able to obtain a better soul tampering technique. I will evolve the dragon form for you every 3 days. Watch carefully. Yuan's feet stepped on the ground. His hair flew in the wind. His entire body shook with strands of ancient aura. Suddenly, a terrifying wave of energy rose from behind him. The image of a dragon soared into the sky. It was about to pierce through the starry sky. The dragon, the king of all beasts, had an amazing charm. It was filled with an unstoppable aura. Su Yan was shocked. It was hard for him to remember such a charm. However, this was just the beginning. Yuan's spine rumbled like the sound of a heavenly drum. The waves of energy turned into a dragon's roar. Rumble. His chi and blood surged from his spine, as if his back had turned into a sleeping dragon. As he leapt into the air, a brilliant beam of dragon-shaped light burst out from his back. This shocking scene left Su Yan in a daze. Don't be anxious. Slowly ponder over it. Use the dragon form to temper your body and chi. This will help you improve very quickly. Using the dragon form to temper the bones in your body can also temper your muscles and bones. This is a detailed catalog for cultivating the dragon form. That's right. When the time is right, go and challenge the Tower of Trials. With your strength, it will be easy for you to challenge the 4th level. There's hope for you to reach the 6th level. That will depend on your perception. Yuan left behind a catalog and left. Su Yan's breathing was heavy. He stared at the catalog that Yuan had given him. He dared to guarantee that if this peerless martial technique were to spread, its value would not be less than 10 billion. Yuan's departure caused the expressions of Tao Tianhua and Jingyang Wei to change. This was because they saw Su Yan respectfully send off Yuan. Damn it! Tao Tianhua nearly spat out a mouthful of blood. Su Yan was unharmed, but Ma Zhoushan was definitely dead. Jingyang Wei was still somewhat unreconciled. Could it be that Su Yan did not consume the body-accumulating pill? Day after day, almost a month had passed. Tao Tianhua often came here, but Su Yan was still unharmed. The two young geniuses were suppressing a ball of fire in their hearts that they had nowhere to vent. After this month, Su Yan was barely able to display the power of the dragon form. His muscles and bones were being tempered, becoming stronger and stronger. The main reason was that he had expended too much of the essence liquid in the treasure cave had been consumed by Su Yan. He had used it all to restore himself. During this period of time, my divine soul has strengthened a lot. I wonder if I can open the inheritance within the black, or... Su Yan thought to himself. He was even puzzled. Once the black or approached the Tower of Trials, it would inexplicably heat up. His divine soul awakened and penetrated the black, or... However, just as his divine soul penetrated the black or involuntarily rumbled and faintly seemed to want to fly out of the room. Not good. Su Yan instantly stopped trying to open the inheritance. His palm grabbed the black, or that was about to break through the air. His heart was filled with horror. How could this be? He pushed open the door and walked out, his expression fluctuating. Because the Tower of Trials had automatically rumbled, the momentum was too great, attracting the attention of many teachers. They were all astonished. This had never happened before. Moreover, the Tower of Trials had only trembled a few times before calming down. Su Yan took a deep breath. The Tower of Trials is related to the black, or the relationship is not small. I better not try it now. If the black or flies out, I won't be able to protect it. Su Yan could only go into seclusion once again and bury this matter in his heart. Boom! 10 days later, thunder rumbled in the clear sky. The sound reverberated, causing many birds and beasts to flee in panic. Look! Many disciples of Huaxia University were shocked. When they looked into the distance, they saw that in Lei Lao's palace, bolts of lightning spurted out one after another, accompanied by the horrifying aura of the divine thunder. Many teachers were alarmed. They saw that in the palace, a young man's whole body was shining with silver light. The lightning mark between his eyebrows seemed to have been revived. The sound of thunder was rumbling in his body, accompanied by the awakening of the magnificent source of divine power. Tang Yingjie has stepped into the life spring stage. So horrible. I feel that he is like the reincarnation of the ancient thunder god. The breakthrough is really terrible. He deserves to have a special constitution. Lei Lao laughed loudly. Tung Yingjia's breakthrough was even more amazing than he had imagined. On this day, the Huaxia University was still in a great sensation. The appearance of the peerless genius had spread to all the big and small forces in Huaxia City. On this day, Tung Yingjie could be said to be glorious. Tung Yingjie has awakened the bloodline of the ancient thunder god. No wonder he is the champion of this year's competition. Tung Yingjie is really terrible. He has passed the 5th floor of the training tower. Zhuo Wenyao is also abnormal. He has also passed the 5th floor. It seems that Huaxia University is about to welcome 2 peerless geniuses. This year's freshmen are really unlucky. Several of them have also passed the 4th floor. Unfortunately, under the deterrence of Tung Yingjie, the rest of the geniuses are insignificant. There was a lot of discussion everywhere. The 3 words Tung Yingjie had spread all over Huaxia City. Why did Grandpa give such an order? Didn't he say that he would not interfere with me? Bai Minjing lost control of her emotions. The rise of Tung Yingjie had attracted the attention of the Bai family. They were looking forward to Bai Minjing being together with Tung Yingjie. Tung Yingjie was too strong now. He persuaded her, "Think about it carefully. Grandpa will not hurt you." Tung Yingjie is much better than Su Yan. They are not at the same level. The life spring he has awakened is very powerful. What's more, he has just stepped into the life spring realm, but he has already defeated a strong man at the 2nd sky of the life spring realm. I am afraid that in a year or so, I will not be his opponent. Even Huaxia University has redesigned the training program for Tung Yingjie. His resources are exactly the same as those of the gold students. Huaxia University wanted to train him. With Tung Yingjie's talent, it was hard for him not to rise. 3 months have passed. Tung Yingjie is about to break through the 6th floor. Lei Lao talked to a group of teachers with a smile. He doesn't know how to keep a low profile. Young people nowadays are really different. I don't think there are many Zhuo Wenyao freshmen in this year's batch. Oh, by the way, what's wrong with Su Yan? He got the body accumulation elixir, but nothing happened. Many teachers were also talking about it. Someone said, "How precious is the body accumulation elixir? It will be a pity if it is wasted." The point is that Su Yan hasn't stepped into the life spring realm yet. Humph, the body accumulation elixir is the most precious treasure of the school. It was given to Su Yan because of his talent. But look at Su Yan. He hasn't even passed the training tower once. Did he come to Huaxia University to build a car behind closed doors? Also, I haven't seen him attend any public classes. Lei Lao's face was unkind. Now he was in high spirits. Tung Yingjie was too good for him. Lei Lao had been brooding about the unhappiness for more than a month ago. There were also rumors floating around Hidden Dragon Mountain. After all, Su Yan got the body accumulation elixir. If he didn't succeed, Huaxia University would be furious. Brother, everyone is talking about you. When are you going to break through the training tower? The fat man sent a message to Su Yan. He came back last month and even went to Su Yan's residence. Is the 3 months almost up? In the room, wave after wave of low and deep dragon roars rumbled and exploded. A faintly discernible dragon shadow rose from behind Su Yan. The dragon shadow was filled with a supreme charm. It was all thanks to the dragon totem. Su Yan had been observing the dragon totem for the past month and perfecting his dragon-shaped moves. He stood up. His blood and chi leaked out. His body was filled with a turbulent aura. His pulse was like a dragon or a tiger. When his heart beat, it was like a thunderclap. It seems like it's time for me to break through. Su Yan took a deep breath. He pushed open the door and walked towards the hidden dragon leaderboard. New students had to break through the training tower for 3 months. If they were worse than ordinary disciples, they might lose their core disciple status. There were many people watching the hidden dragon leaderboard. Zhuo Wenyao had gone to break through again. But how could the 6th level be so easy to break through? Su Yan, you have been hiding for 3 months. You still know to come out. At this moment, a student who was watching the hidden dragon leaderboard had a cold look in his eyes. He rushed up and grinned. Why are you hiding in a dilapidated house? Why are you so afraid of being challenged? Su Yan was stunned by the sudden appearance of the person. When he saw that it was Jing Yangyu, he laughed. Haven't you peed your pants enough? B asterisk starred. Jing Yangyu's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. He almost went berserk. A cold, murderous aura exuded from his body. The life spring in his body was also unsealed. No wonder you were so arrogant. You have broken through to the life spring realm. Su Yin said coldly. What, you want to fight me? What a good Su Yin. You're really fearless. Jing Yangyu laughed loudly. 3 months have passed. Su Yin, I really don't want your dilapidated house. But to satisfy your curiosity, I am willing to let you experience what the life spring realm is like. I'm afraid that trash of a teacher will not let you understand the power of the life spring realm. Su Yan's eyes turned cold. There were 2 divine tigers hibernating in his eyes. They were filled with a faint and terrifying murderous aura. He said coldly, You can insult me, but you dare to insult my teacher. Jing Yangyu, you are asking for a beating. This gaze scared Jing Yangyu. He felt his scalp go numb, and he staggered back. The onlookers were in an uproar. Jing Yangyu immediately reacted. This was a great humiliation. He rushed up with a roar and said, Su Yin, if I don't beat you until you are convinced, you really won't know what the life spring realm is. Su Yan's hair fluttered. He stared at Jing Yangyu and said coldly, I also want to know what the life spring realm is like. Chapter 45. Everyone around was petrified. Su Yin was too bold. Jing Yanghui had already stepped into the life spring stage. Even if Su Yin had reached a higher level in the awakening stage, it was still impossible for him to fight against Jing Yanghui. You are too arrogant. Jing Yangyu was so angry that his face turned green. He said angrily, Su Yin, I will skin you alive. The humiliation last time, coupled with Su Yan's contempt this time, made Jing Yangyu seethe with anger. If he couldn't avenge his previous humiliation by fighting against Su Yin with the strength of the life spring stage, wouldn't he be laughed at by the world? Buzz! Jing Yangyu's body seemed to be carved out of gold, rippling with a strong aura. His cultivation of the golden body secrets had also reached a higher level. After all, Jing Yangyu had stepped into the life spring stage. His body had also erupted with more potential. Due to his powerful strength, Jing Yangyu sneered confidently. Even if I don't use the life spring stage, I can beat you like a dog with just my body. Su Yin, Ba Minjing exclaimed. Sensing the commotion outside, she walked out and saw Jing Yanghui attacking Su Yin. Bai Xingyuan tried his best to stop Bai Minjing. He didn't care whether Bai Minjing and Tung Yingjie could succeed or not, but he couldn't let Bai Minjing speak up for Su Yin. He already knew that Lei Lao was dissatisfied with Su Yin. Jing Yangyu's aura was ferocious. In an instant, he swooped down. His body released billowing qi and blood, like thousands of horses galloping. Su Yin is dead. How dare he provoke Jing Yangyu? Jing Yanghui's body alone may have the strength of thousands of horses. How can Su Yin fight with Jing Yangyu? Just wait and see. Su Yin will definitely be beaten up. Under the fanatical gazes of the surrounding people, Jing Yangyu had already charged towards Su Yin. His palm emitted a powerful force as he slashed towards Su Yan's head. This was no longer a simple competition, but a killing move. When Chong Lingyu saw this scene, she sneered and said, Good. Jing Yangyu is indeed powerful. It's unavoidable to be injured in a martial arts competition. There are even examples of people losing their lives. Boom! Under the horrified gazes of everyone present, they saw Su Yin boldly swing his fist at Jing Yangyu's palm. Are you crazy? The surroundings were in an uproar. They could clearly see the moment when the fist and palm collided. The collision of the two energies caused the dense sound of bones cracking, which made one's hair stand on end. Oh my God, Jing Yangyu is too ruthless. He broke Su Yan's bones with one slap. From the sound of it, it's not just one or two. He's going to cripple Su Yin. Jing Yangyu's physical body is really powerful. Unfortunately, this golden body technique requires a huge amount of resources to cultivate. We don't have such resources to support cultivation. I reckon that the current Jing Yangyu seems to be able to challenge those of a higher level. The surrounding disciples discussed animatedly. Bai Minjing's beautiful face turned pale. She covered her mouth with her hand, and her big eyes trembled. TSK, bullying my brother. This kid deserves a beating. The fat man's face trembled as he rushed over fiercely. His entire body faintly exuded a vast, ferocious aura. The fat man had gone out to cultivate for more than 3 months. His strength had skyrocketed, and he was confident that he could charge into the top 20 core disciples. The fat man was very clear about Su Yan's strength. Just his physical body alone was enough to beat Jing Yonghui. When the squeal of a pig being slaughtered exploded, everyone present was in disbelief. They saw Jing Yongyu rolling on the ground. His entire arm was like a fried dough twist that could shatter at any time. The scene was too horrible to look at. Silence. It was so quiet that even a needle could be heard clearly. The hundreds of disciples present were all petrified and dumbstruck. How is this possible? Bai Xingyuan was tongue-tied. The one who was injured was Jing Yongyu. The bones in his entire arm were shattered. The pain of broken bones was something that few people could withstand. Let me tell you, just with my physical body alone, I can beat you up like a dog. Su Yan looked down at Jing Yongyu. He was as cold as a demon. He said indifferently, "If you're not convinced, get up and try again." Su Yan, Su Yan, Su Yan. Jing Yongyu roared crazily. His hair was disheveled and his face started to distort. It was a great humiliation, a great humiliation. An expert in the life spring realm had his arm crippled by Su Yan's punch. Jing Yangyu's eyes were blood red. He roared, "I have my own means to deal with you." Buzz! Jing Yangyu's life spring was opened, gushing out waves after waves of air that soared into the sky. The compressed air shattered the vacuum as if a gust of wind was blowing over, causing the surrounding trees to rustle and sway. Jing Yangyu's physical body was severely injured, but his life spring was undamaged. Furthermore, the life spring divine energy that spewed out intertwined like lightning. When it converged into a miniature sky blade, it also slashed down with a resplendent blade aura that could split a mountain. Oh my God, it's the Sky Blade. The crowd was in an uproar. The Sky Blade was a top-notch martial art technique. It was even a shocking martial art technique developed by Xia Zhe. However, to cultivate this martial art technique, one had to pay 30,000 contribution points. It was impossible for Jing Yongyu to have so many contribution points. They guessed that Jing Yonghui must have given them to him. Who wouldn't be jealous of such a martial art technique? The fatty was extremely nervous. This was the Sky Blade, an extremely powerful martial art technique. Su Yan, I'm going to kill you. Jing Yongyu had already lost control. He controlled the Sky Blade and slashed at Su Yan. The aura was extremely terrifying. Su Yan turned his head. His clothes and black hair fluttered despite the lack of wind. When the Sky Blade was about to reach Su Yan, he moved. Like a thunderbolt, like a dragon horse. His legs were filled with astounding strength. It was as though an ancient dragon horse was trampling on the ground. Rip! Su Yan changed his position. In his horse form, he shuttled through the sky and leaped hundreds of meters, avoiding the Sky Blade. You can't dodge it. Slash! Jing Yongyu seemed to have gone mad. He once again slashed at Su Yan with the Sky Blade. This scene made the fatty laugh. Jing Yongyu did not have much combat experience. With Su Yan's horse form, he could easily dodge Jing Yongyu's attack. 3 times in a row, the destructive power was astonishing. The earth cracked open from his slashes. Jing Yongyu was panting. He had consumed too much energy. However, when he saw that Su Yan was still intact, Jing Yongyu was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He was flustered and exasperated as he activated his limited divine power source and once again unleashed the Sky Blade. Again, little brat, you'd better go home and drink milk for a few days. At this moment, the rolling sound waves swept through the entire arena. The shaking ancient trees in the surroundings were about to shatter. Su Yan swooped down in a flash. His entire body's strength had recovered. A terrifying aura erupted. His aura was completely different. It was as though a martial arts grandmaster had awakened here. It was a shocking scene. The spectators felt their scalps tingle as though they had been struck by lightning. They were so intimidated by the king of divine tigers that they were paralyzed and trembling on the ground. Yuan's instructions to Su Yin were to start with his spirit and willpower. In a battle of martial arts, he could not lose his momentum. Willpower was a powerful method to intimidate the enemy. The might of the divine tiger was much more ferocious than the previous battle between Su Yin and Jing Yangyu. Roar! Everyone present was stunned. They would never forget this scene for the rest of their lives. They saw that Su Yin seemed to have transformed into the king of ancient tigers. The divine tiger phantom moved with Su Yin. When Su Yin's chest rose and fell, it let out a sky-splitting roar. Tiger roar and dragon roar. The divine tiger was unleashed. Its roar shook the mountains and forests. Its power was unparalleled. It attacked and crushed Jing Yangyu's mind. The sky blade that he had gathered collapsed and disintegrated. The divine tiger stretched out its claws, tearing the sky and splitting the earth. It even wanted to tear the sky apart. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. When they saw the big claws slashing down, Jing Yangyu trembled on the ground. He did not dare to open his eyes to look at everything. Su Yan, Bai Minjing muttered to herself with a smile on her face. The young man's majesty at this moment had dispelled all the gossip. Bai Xingyuan felt that his eyes were blurred. Su Yan was so strong. This brother of mine will definitely not be an ordinary person in the future, the fatty muttered. He speculated that Su Yin had not stepped into the life spring stage. However, the fatty did not know how strong he was, and he did not ask. In the end, Chang Lingyu's shrill cry broke the silence. Her face was pale. Su Yin could even beat up Jing Yangyu, who was at the life spring stage. Thinking of her attitude towards Su Yin, she could not help but shiver. After all, she was an ordinary disciple. She knew very well how serious the consequences of provoking a famous genius disciple were. Hua! There was an uproar. They looked at Jing Yangyu's trembling appearance. Even now, Jing Yangyu did not dare to raise his head. He was crawling on the ground, trembling. But Su Yin had already left. Useless thing, stand up. Jing Yanghui had already rushed over after receiving Jing Yangyu's message. He originally wanted to see Jing Yangyu wipe away his shame, but what he saw was Jing Yangyu's ugly state. Jing Yanghui flew into a rage. He felt that he had been too protective of his younger brother. He had to let him experience life and death situations in order to become a strong person. Where's Su Yan? Jing Yanghui's eyes were red. This was the second time. Where'd he put his face? Chang Lingyu stretched out a trembling finger and pointed in the direction that Su Yin had gone. Su Yin has gone to challenge the Tower of Trials. Chapter 46. What's going on? Why is it so noisy? At this time, Elder Liang and a group of teachers arrived at Hidden Dragon Mountain. Today was the last day of the freshman assessment. On this day, someone might fall from the position of core disciple. Elder Liang was helpless. He was the one who gave the body accumulation pill to Su Yin. If Su Yan's talent was average at Huaxia University, and he couldn't even pass the 4th level of the Tower of Trials, he would also be punished. But when they arrived at the Hidden Dragon ranking, they saw many disciples gathered together and making a ruckus. The dark-skinned Fan Hong had sharp ears and heard the discussion between Su Yin and Jing Yangyu. He asked with great interest, what was the result of the battle between Su Yin and Jing Yangyu? Some teachers shook their heads. Jing Yangyu had been in the Life Spring realm for more than a month. With his elder brother taking care of him, what ability did Su Yin have to compete with Jing Yangyu? Chang Lingyu stammered as she told them the result. The group of teachers was stunned. Jing Yangyu had lost. It was a terrible loss. How is this possible? Fan Hong was dumbstruck. He slapped his thigh and said with a pained expression, Su Yin actually won. He must have reached the Life Spring realm. Damn it. I should have invited Su Yin again and let him know about the problem with the Yuan. Wu Rong, who had followed them, also smiled bitterly. At that time, he and Fan Hong had wanted to take Su Yin as a student. Who knew that Su Yin would choose Yi Yuan? He had followed Yi Yuan and was able to defeat Jing Yangyu again. Just thinking about it made one realize Su Yan's potential. Ha ha ha. Su Yan really surprised me. Elder Liang laughed heartily. Su Yan was the student that he had chosen, and he was also the most outstanding student that he had chosen. Su Yan's current achievements had a lot to do with his status. Now that Su Yan had such a battle record, Elder Liang's face was flushed with pride. Big news! Su Yan challenged the Tower of Trials, and Jing Yangyu suffered another crushing defeat at the hands of Su Yan. Su Yan must have reached the life spring stage. Even though he is following Yi Yuan, he still has such combat prowess. It is obvious how talented Su Yan is. The whole Huaxia University was in an uproar. The news was flying everywhere. Big and small news were also flying to Huaxia City, which attracted the attention of all the big forces. After all, whether it was Su Yan or Tang Yingjie, once they stepped into the life spring, they would soar to the sky in a few years. Then all the big forces would scramble to make friends with them. What? Su Yan defeated Jing Yangyu. Lei Lao's face changed when he got the news. He had just said that Su Yan had wasted the best resources of the university, but now Su Yan had defeated Jing Yangyu. It was a slap in his face. How could he put his face? The teacher who delivered the news couldn't have misheard it, which made Lei Lao very angry. He said angrily, Su Yan is really good. He really hides his strength well, but it's not a big deal for him to defeat a nobody like Jing Yangyu. In front of Tang Yingjie, even a strong dragon has to kneel down. The teacher who informed him frowned. He felt that Lei Lao was too partial to Tang Yingjie. With his current mentality, how could he control the whole situation and become the vice dean? Pay attention to Su Yan's performance in the Tower of Trials. If he reaches the 5th floor, prepare a generous gift for Su Yan. Xiaoyang, keep in touch with Su Yan and see how many floors he has reached. If he can pass the 5th floor, give Su Yan the same generous gift as Tang Yingjie. Su Yan has really made the 9th base proud. Jing Yangyu was defeated again, and now he has gone to challenge the Tower of Trials. I'll go and see how many floors he can reach now. The commotion caused by the university was huge. Tao Qianhua's face was very ugly. How could the ancient, strange poison of the body accumulation pill be useless? Could it be that this is the ancient, strange poison? Tao Tianhua's face kept changing. Could it be that it wasn't poison? Or was it some other treasure? My good brother has finally made a breakthrough. I knew it. Xiaoyang laughed. Tang Yingjie reached the 6th floor, and my brother can at least reach the 5th floor. It seems that my status has risen again. He has passed the level. With Su Yan's comprehension, passing the 5th floor shouldn't be a problem. There's also hope for the 6th floor. He should be able to reach the 6th floor. Although Yi Yuan was alone, he paid a lot of attention to Su Yan. As for Jing Yangyu, Yi Yuan didn't care at all. Huaxia University paid a lot of attention to the Tower of Trials. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been listed as an assessment score and ranking score. Su Yan defeating Jing Yangyu and challenging the Tower of Trials had attracted a lot of attention. The Tower of Trials was at the foot of Hidden Dragon Mountain. It was an ancient pagoda with 12 floors. Rumor had it that it was unearthed from ancient ruins. It was the Tower of Trials for the disciples of the Ancient Strong. After entering the Tower of Trials, Su Yan felt waves of ancient aura rushing towards him. It was at least 1,000 square meters, and the ground was very solid. He didn't know what material it was made of. Someone's here. Su Yan stared at a shadow in the Tower of Trials. It was very tall and bronze in color, as if it was made of some special metal. There's no sign of life. Su Yan walked forward and stared at the bronze-colored person. This was a puppet that was refined using materials. It was equivalent to an artifact. Wong. The puppet's eyes lit up as it stared at Su Yan. Its body was actually emitting waves of powerful energy. Examinee. Activate your strongest power. Otherwise, it will be considered cheating. Su Yan's aura was released from his body. His whole body was filled with powerful blood and qi, and his pores were sprinkled with golden light. He was like a god standing there. Preliminary assessment. The examinee is a body cultivator. Begin the assessment. The puppet's life had just ended when it erupted with an aura similar to Su Yan's. It rushed over and punched at Su Yan. Come on. Su Yan's eyes were filled with battle intent. There was a time limit for the assessment. If he exceeded the time limit, he would be considered to have failed. He activated the form and will fist with lightning speed. His entire body seemed to have transformed into a giant bear, and his terrifying strength caused even the vacuum to crack. He charged forward savagely like a human cannonball. The impact was astonishing. Boom! The puppet's body trembled as it was forced back by the form and will fist. It seemed as if it was about to be shattered by Su Yan's charge. Simple and direct. You pass. As the puppet's voice fell, it fell into a dead silence. Su Yan sighed at its mysteriousness. Su Yan walked up the stairs and rushed to the second level. What surprised him were the two puppets. These two puppets were as powerful as the ones on the first level. They were attacking Su Yan. The first few levels are probably just free points. Teacher taught me the form and will fist these days because he wanted me to challenge the Tower of Trials. After all, the rewards of the Tower of Trials are too generous. Su Yan's eyes widened as his body emitted a powerful aura. He also transformed into a giant bear as he rammed into the two puppets. This level of difficulty could not stop Su Yan at all. He has already passed the first two levels. His speed is so fast. Su Yan must have a lot of battle experience. There were many onlookers in the Tower of Trials who were pointing and whispering. The steward in charge of the Tower of Trials could check Su Yan's results. He was currently on the third level. There are 3 opponents on the third level. It will take a lot of time to pass. The fourth level is the hardest. Many people don't even know how he failed on the fourth level. Yuan shouldn't have any martial arts techniques. Su Yan's performance on the fourth level is a bit uncertain. That's right. Su Yan hasn't been to the Scripture Pavilion even once. It's impossible for him to have mastered any powerful martial arts techniques. Although he knows the form and will fist, Yuan doesn't know it at all. Hearing the discussions of the crowd, the fatty sneered. Form and will fist? Damn it. Yuan was the founder of the form and will fist. He even had a hidden move. If all 5 moves were to be circulated at the same time, Yuan's name would shake the entire Huaxiao Alliance, and he would become a famous martial arts master. On the third level, Su Yan didn't spend much time either. What he was very interested in was how these puppets were made. The Tower of Trials shouldn't be filled with these boring fights. If that's the case, someone will definitely pass the Tower Trials. According to the fatty, the later levels are all tests of comprehension. Could there be some kind of inheritance hidden in here? When he reached the fourth level, Su Yan paid more attention to it. It was a silver puppet. Its eyes were filled with cold light. It looked like a human, almost like a living being. Many disciples in the academy couldn't pass the fourth level because it was related to martial arts techniques. Wong. The silver puppet glowed. Its entire fist released surging qi and blood. It was faintly discernible, like a huge fist projection that could swallow mountains and rivers. Its aura was extremely majestic, as if it could split open the sky. What a powerful fist technique. Is this the mountain-splitting fist? Su Yan stared at the silver puppet. His fist was overflowing with suffocating waves. Suddenly, he moved. His speed was astonishing. His fist also rotated. At this moment, the heaven and earth were faintly shaking. The source of energy from this fist was extremely powerful. Dong! If the fist smashed into a human body, it would definitely be smashed into a cripple. Good timing. Su Yan's eyes widened. The dragon and tiger aura were awakened along with him. His limbs and bones surged with terrifying divine light. At this moment, Su Yan's every move was filled with shocking power. He stepped forward and stretched out his arms. At this moment, the roars of dragons and tigers could be heard. His hands exuded a domineering strength that could easily tear the sky apart. Bam! Su Yan's arms moved just like that, tearing the heaven and earth apart. The might of the tiger aura poured out and collided with the silver puppet. Bam! No matter how strong the mountain-splitting fist was, it couldn't harm Su Yan in the slightest. Instead, the silver puppet was sent flying by Su Yan's aura. Congratulations, you passed. The silver puppet returned to its original position and remained motionless. Su Yan stepped onto the 5th level. When he pushed open the door to the 5th level, it was as if he had crossed over into an ancient world. Su Yan saw a magnificent territory as heavy as the sky. The intertwining momentum shot straight into the blue dome of heaven. He was stunned. A small pagoda was carrying an entire continent. In the next moment, Su Yan's ears rumbled. Layer after layer of terrains suddenly began to awaken. This momentum seemed to be able to pierce through the universe. Millions of terrains rose from the ground like millions of true dragons soaring into the sky. They raised their heads and roared. Chapter 47. Anyone who saw this scene would be scared out of their wits. This scene was too majestic and terrifying. Su Yan's soul froze. This scene was familiar. It was the strange black divine metal that Su Yan had obtained, and the inheritance was hidden within it. However, the inheritance in the black divine metal was worlds apart from the one here. The inheritance in the trial tower could not be compared to the black divine metal. The inheritance in the black divine metal was the terrifying one. It could easily destroy a person's soul. Boom! Just as Su Yan was observing, the sky trembled. Millions of true dragons swooped down. They seemed to be the strongest life essence of the continent. As they fell, they instantly rushed towards Su Yan. Not good. Su Yan's expression changed. They were all rushing towards him. At this moment, his soul trembled. He felt as if he was about to be turned into ashes by the dragons. At the moment of death, everything seemed to slow down. Vaguely, Su Yan discovered that there were many strange characters among the dragons. He had seen these characters before in the inheritance in the black divine metal. However, the complexity of these characters could not be compared to the inheritance in the black divine metal. It was these characters that gathered together to form a terrifying aura. They led to an irresistible force. The aura of heaven and earth could suppress the universe. No, this is an illusion. The problem lies in these strange characters. Su Yan could not understand what these strange characters were. However, when he saw the problem, the strange thing was that everything dissipated. The majestic aura of heaven and earth also dissipated. Oh, Su Yan gasped. Cold sweat broke out on his back. He frowned. What had he experienced just now? Also, what did the black divine metal have to do with the trial tower? Su Yan found it hard to calm down. Ever since he came to the college, the black divine metal would heat up once it got close to the trial tower. Previously, when he wanted to view the inheritance again, the black divine metal almost flew away. Su Yan could not help but deduce that the inheritance in the black divine metal was closely related to the trial tower. The door to the 6th level is open. I passed the 5th level. Su Yan was surprised. He guessed that he had seen through the mysteries and that the phenomenon just now was evolved from the strange characters. He couldn't help but say, no wonder so many people couldn't pass the 5th level. Just the phenomenon just now would have made those with weak willpower turn around and run. Su Yan had entered the 6th floor. The trial tower was completely silent. Many people were petrified. The steward reported that Su Yan had passed the 4th level and even passed the 5th level at an extremely fast speed. His voice was trembling because the speed was too fast. This was Su Yan's first time in the trial tower. How is this possible? Jing Yanghui's expression was very ugly. Even he had only passed the 5th level on his second attempt. However, Su Yan had directly rushed up to the 5th level. This was too inconceivable. Furthermore, the 4th level tested one's martial skills. Su Yan had only grasped the form and will fist. What could a Yuan teach Su Yan? As expected of a genius, Su Yan is after all the 3rd place of this batch of newcomers. He has already passed the 6th level. The 6th level is too difficult. It tests one's perception. A typical student would need to attempt it 4 or 5 times before they have any hope of passing it. I wonder how many times Su Yan will need to attempt it. Based on Su Yan's speed of passing the 5th level, I estimate that he won't need more than 3 attempts to pass it. There was a lot of discussion in the surroundings. It was already very impressive. Only Tung Yingjie had reached the 6th level. Now, Su Yin had also done it. Zhuo Wenyao's expression was ugly. He had not reached the 6th level, but now Su Yin had done it. This was a huge blow to him. Good job, Su Yin. He actually has the ability to reach the 6th level. Lei Lao was angry. He coldly snorted, but Tung is already in seclusion. I estimate that he will reach the 2nd layer of the Lifespring realm in less than a month. When that time comes, he will definitely be able to reach the 7th level. Lei Lao had always believed that Tung Yingjie was the leader of this batch of newcomers. He felt that Su Yin was just lucky. Although the Tower of Trials tested one's perception, it was impossible to cheat. This was because the test was different every time. Cheating did not exist, and the Tower Trials tests were absolutely fair. This brother of mine is really amazing. His ranking in the Tower of Trials is almost catching up to mine. The fatty was excited. He was ranked on the 7th level. The 6th level was very difficult, but it was different for them. This was because Su Yan's contribution points reward was doubled. The higher he went, the more contribution points he would receive. The 6th level of the Tower of Trials. Su Yin stood in the middle of this space. There was no one around. His eyes looked around for a while, and he heard a light female voice. The 6th level. In 3 days, comprehend the power of the array marks and undergo a deeper level of test. Who's talking? Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. His eyes were filled with surprise. Was this Tower of Trials some kind of treasure? Or was it controlled by someone? This was inconceivable to him. Array marks? Is this some kind of array? Su Yan looked around for a while. The entire 6th level was filled with an energy storm, accompanied by a dazzling light beam. In the void, there seemed to be invisible fingers stretching out and carving between heaven and earth. This was accompanied by a deafening sound. What a mysterious Tower of Trials. Su Yan's eyes stared at the ground. Many marks quickly flashed on the ground. These were very mysterious array marks. One after another, they looked like scribbles, but they also looked like mysterious characters. They meandered and intertwined. The more they were carved, the stronger the fluctuations from these mysterious array marks. Su Yin even felt that under the guidance of the array marks, the power of the earth was awakening. It was like an earth dragon was about to awaken. Su Yan's breathing was heavy. He felt suffocated. The aura of the earth's awakening was like a terrifying terrain that could crush a person to death. These are array marks? Su Yin sucked in a breath of cold air. The world of cultivation was too mysterious. These strange array marks could display the power of the earth. If someone could control the earth, control the terrain, and even control the power of the dragon vein, it would be unimaginable. When the array marks were completely formed, Su Yin realized that they seemed to have been revived and were operating on their own. His eyes flashed with surprise. This was because these array marks were similar to the Black Ore's inheritance. Of course, these array marks and the Black Ore's layout were completely different. Su Yin sat cross-legged. His eyes stared at the complex shock on the ground. His spirit spread out and touched these array marks. Su Yin felt their power. Once they were awakened, they could activate the terrain and kill strong enemies. If these array marks turn into a killing trap, I will be killed immediately. What a mysterious power. If I could control it, it would be amazing. But it's difficult, very difficult. But it didn't say that I could control it. Maybe I can comprehend it. Su Yin stared at the array marks without blinking. He completely calmed down and visualized the world, the universe, and the array marks. In the darkness, Su Yan's spirit and will were burning. He silently recalled the method of constructing the array marks and its mysteries. Su Yin began to comprehend its charm, just like how he comprehended the spirit and will of the Xingyi fist. Using qi to form, the Xingyi fist reached the heavens. Tens of thousands of supernatural powers evolved, evolving its charm and observing its form. Su Yin observed for a long time, but still couldn't figure it out. Gradually, he frowned. No, the power of heaven and earth. The array marks use the power of heaven and earth. But the power of heaven and earth isn't that easy to control. Body like the universe. Immediately, Su Yan's eyes flashed with joy. He recalled the beginning sutra. The sutra said that the human body contained billions of celestial treasures. The human body was equivalent to the universe. The human body would continue to grow as one's cultivation improved and eventually evolve into the universe. Since he couldn't control the power of heaven and earth, Su Yan could use the human body to evolve the array marks. This gave Su Yan a lot of inspiration. His body continued to recover, and the blood in his body overflowed. His body shone brightly. After the last rebirth and cleansing of the impurities in his body, Su Yan's control of the human body had reached a new level. The power of the body was endless, mysterious, and unlimited. Su Yan's world gradually changed. He seemed to have become a small universe that was condensed billions of times, glowing and heating up. Without cultivation techniques, martial arts, and spiritual willpower, how could the power of the body be fully activated? It was impossible, but the array marks could, using the body as an array, evolving the power of the body. Su Yan's aura changed. It became more and more astonishing and powerful. It was somewhat unimaginable. His aura reached the heavens. The blood in his entire treasure body rumbled and shone resplendently. The blood light that scattered down kept changing and evolving as it flowed in the air. It was in accordance with the true meaning of Xing Yi. This was the release of the power of the body to create the array marks. But it was very difficult. It was extraordinarily difficult. Su Yan was just trying. He had a comprehensive understanding of the array marks. Now, he could simulate it and use the power of the human body to simulate its charm. Su Yan felt that if he could imitate the array marks in the human body, would it be able to improve his combat ability? He felt that this method was feasible. 3 days is impossible. Su Yan frowned. It was too short. He didn't expect it to be so difficult. However, just as Su Yan opened his eyes, he heard a cold voice. Chapter 48. There are levels in the test. Su Yan was a little confused. He had never heard of this before. Could it be that the Tower of Trials thought that Su Yan would go further on the path of array marks? Hence, the core test was activated. In that case, the difficulty would definitely increase. Su Yan wanted to earn contribution points, but he did not expect to activate such a difficult test by accident. Big news! Su Yan has passed the 6th level of the Tower of Trials. The news shocked the entire Huaxia University. Many teachers were dumbfounded. He had passed the 6th level, and it was his first time doing it. Everyone who heard the news was in disbelief. Zhuo Wenyao was silent. It was not the 5th level, but the 6th level. The significance of this was different. Su Yan did not rely on luck, and his perception was amazing. Su Yan is really amazing. He has already reached the 1st place of this year's new students. This is really scary. Su Yan is now on the 7th level of the Tower of Trials. Many seniors who have been in the school for 2 or 3 years have not been able to pass this level. This news spread throughout Huaxia University. All the major powers were shocked. Who would have thought that a dark horse would appear and enter the 7th level in such a strong manner and become the 1st place of this year's new students? Quick, prepare gifts. Let our family disciples befriend Su Yan. Su Yan's perception has surpassed Tung Yingjia's. It's unbelievable. A person from the 9th base has surpassed Tung Yingjia. Su Yan has such perception. It's a waste to follow Yi Yuan. I must find a way to take him under my wing. The commotion caused by this matter was too great. A new student had reached the 7th level, which already surpassed most of the older students. Even Jing Yonghui had used 3 years to reach the 8th level, and he hadn't even passed the 8th level. He has passed the 6th level? A smile appeared on Yi Yuan's face when he heard the news. Not bad. I wonder what kind of test he has activated. If it's an ordinary test, then it's nothing. If it's an advanced test, then it's amazing. Yi Yuan had passed the core trial in the past. He knew that it was very difficult, but the things that came into contact with the core trial were completely different. There were shocking inheritances hidden in the trial tower, and Yi Yuan had obtained some of them. He hoped that Su Yan would be able to obtain some of them as well. The trial of the seventh floor had exceeded Su Yan's expectations. From afar, he saw a stone table. On the stone table, there was an ancient bee skin map. Could there be an inheritance? Su Yan's eyes flashed with joy as he quickly approached the bee skin diagram. The ancient aura that assaulted his face made Su Yan feel as if he had arrived in ancient times. Who knew how many years the bee skin map had existed for? Could it be that the Tower of Trials came from an ancient ruin? In fact, since the Tower of Trials had existed until now, no one had ever passed it. The first volume of the Art of Mystical Arrays. A few large words appeared in front of his eyes. Su Yan muttered to himself, "The Art of Mystical Arrays. The array marks I saw on the sixth floor should belong to the Art of Mystical Arrays. This is the first volume. Let's see what's recorded here." Su Yan sat down cross-legged and concentrated on observing the Art of Mystical Arrays. A brand new world door slowly opened. Su Yan felt as if he had barged into a sea of knowledge. The contents that he saw subverted many of his thoughts. He never thought that there would be such a mystical method in the cultivation civilization. Grasp the power of heaven and earth, control the origin of all living things, control the 9 heavens and the river of stars, seize the heavens and create the earth, and spread the Tao throughout the universe. Su Yan's emotions surged as he carefully studied every sentence. The contents recorded here were too profound, but reading the first volume made it easy for one to understand the mystical methods recorded here. The first volume of the Art of Mystical Arrays could be said to be the basics. Using the power of the human body to derive the power of heaven and earth and spread the Tao throughout the world. In the bee skin diagram, it described the method of inscribing array marks. Using the power of the human body to control the power of the earth, it could unleash all sorts of unimaginable effects. Although the bee skin diagram recorded the most superficial array patterns, it was still extremely difficult to understand. These array patterns had to be inscribed with the power of the human body in order to unleash the miraculous effects it should have. It's too amazing. I wonder who researched these array patterns. Compared to it, creating martial techniques is child's play. Su Yan was amazed. He spent an entire day to finish reading the bee skin diagram. He had a general understanding of the array patterns. He could not help but laugh. If there were no array patterns inscribed on the bee skin diagram, to inscribe the 6 floors array pattern, it would take a lifetime of research to achieve nothing. Su Yan closed his eyes and carefully comprehended. The Tower of Trials was very quiet. Su Yan was not the only one exploring, but everyone was in a different world. It had to be said that the Tower of Trials was Huaxia University's cornerstone treasure. In his sea of consciousness, Su Yan's spirit flame burned. Another day passed. In his sea of consciousness, all sorts of strange patterns were constantly flashing. Su Yan was borrowing the power of the initial sutra's visualization to inscribe array patterns. This deduction speed was very fast, but it consumed a lot of his spirit energy. Su Yan's face was full of fatigue. His fingers were constantly writing and drawing. Sometimes he would look at the sky and mumble to himself. Sometimes he would look back at the scene he saw in the black, or for the first time. Gradually, Su Yan's body rippled with a strange luster. This was the power of his human body. It seeped out of his body through his pores. This power contained the power of the array patterns. He was inscribing the array patterns in the bee skin diagram. When the third day arrived, Su Yan's chi was faintly terrifying. It was a very miraculous manifestation. Layers of strange patterns appeared on the surface of his body. It was the existence of these patterns that caused the vacuum he was in to slightly distort. The beginning of the mystic array, Tao, requires the human body to be the array. Only by cultivating it can one use the power of the human body to control the power of heaven and earth. Su Yan's eyes suddenly opened. Divine light shot out from his eyes like a bolt of lightning. Strange patterns that contained the power of the human body gushed out and tore the sky apart. Yes, that's a feeling. This is also a method to circulate the power of the human body. By using the human body as the array, I can release even more power. The array Tao is truly broad and profound. Su Yin was excited. He had already peeked into a corner of the vastness of the array Dao. He could already circulate the shallow array Dao. Taking a deep breath, he stood up and stared at the vacuum. Suddenly, Su Yin raised his palm. Bending his fingertip gushed with power and rippled with the luster of the array patterns. Using the power of the human body to evolve the array patterns, his finger seemed to have transformed into a giant finger. Every stroke consumed a large amount of his qi and blood. Strange scribbles appeared one after another. They were like some kind of ancient text. When Su Yin carved out the most shallow wind array, this array pattern flashed with a brilliant light. Wong. It burned and swept over like a hurricane. The array pattern contained the power of the human body. It was like a martial technique had exploded. In an instant, the entire space was filled with strong winds. Ha ha ha, this is too magical. Su Yin felt that he had encountered a great opportunity. This was only the most shallow method. Thinking about the power of the array Dao on the 5th level, if he could control the power of heaven and earth, it would be unimaginable how terrifying it would be. Continue to work hard. Su Yin took the bee skin map and studied it again. At the same time, he circulated the Initiation Sutra to recover his energy. It was not quiet outside the Tower of Trials. Su Yin had not come out yet. It had been almost 5 days. Could he still pass the 7th level? If Su Yin makes it to the 7th level, that would be terrifying. Yes, the number of core disciples who have made it to the 8th level can be counted on one hand. Jing Yanghui's ranking is the highest. It's impossible to pass the 7th level. The 7th level of the Tower of Trials is extremely difficult. I was told to comprehend a martial technique on the 7th level and was only given 10 days. How could I possibly complete it? The next time I went, I even changed to a different martial technique. Everyone's test was different. However, there was one similarity: comprehension. As long as one's comprehension was sufficient, they would be able to pass. On the 7th day, a loud sound came from the 7th level. Su Yan's hair danced in the wind. The light in his eyes was terrifying. Flames surged between his 5 fingers. His 5 fingers seemed to have turned into 5 divine brushes. They carved in the air, drawing out waves after waves of ear-piercing sounds. The divine power in Su Yan's body surged out. With a shout from Su Yan, a large handprint appeared in his palm and imprinted in the air. Rumble. When the large handprint's power recovered, the formation marks within burned. A turbulent energy spread out, exploding the vacuum and creating an extremely strong destructive force. Su Yan's face was full of anticipation. This was only the most superficial formation marks. It was not considered a formation path. Once a formation path was set up, it could borrow the power of heaven and earth and gather the power of heaven and earth. It was extremely shocking. Congratulations to the candidate for passing the 7th level's core test. A gentle voice sounded. Su Yan's face was full of smiles. He said, "Will there be more profound techniques on the 7th level? If I can obtain the method to set up formation marks, that would be an opportunity. Superficial formation marks are not of much help to me." Su Yin pushed open the door to the 7th level and walked up. The moment he arrived, his expression changed because there was a person inside. To be more precise, there was a peerless beauty standing there. Her skin was like jade, and her beautiful black hair hung down to her waist. Her snow-white neck was sparkling and translucent like suet fat jade. Her curves rose and fell, and her small waist was so small that it could be held with one hand. The woman's eyes were hazy with mist. Her lips were bright red, and her bones were like jade. She was already beautiful enough. She wore a silver robe that shone with a silver radiance, making her look graceful and elegant. Chapter 49. A broken sound came from Lei Lao's room, accompanied by the anger of thunder, which made the teachers outside the door not dare to breathe. How is this possible? Lei Lao made an incredible sound. Su Yin passed the 7th floor. He actually passed the 7th floor. How could this happen? The entire academy was dead silent. No one dared to believe this news when it was spread. However, the truth was as such. Su Yin had passed the 7th level. A new disciple who had just entered the training tower for the first time had already turned the sky upside down. Everyone knew that it was very difficult to break through the 7th floor, and it required excellent comprehension. Many talented senior students in the school were trapped, and it was very difficult for them to go further. But now a new disciple had passed the 7th floor. This matter shocked the school's top management. The older generation knew too well that the higher the comprehension, the further one could go in the future. What's more, Su Yan's potential was extremely amazing, second only to the natural thunder body and Zhuo Yao. You want to suffer because of your pride. Fan Hong beat his chest. Now even if he shamelessly invited Su Yin to be his disciple, Su Yin would not come to him. There were many teachers in the school who were better than him. Bai Minjing's grandfather wanted Bai Minjing and Su Yin to get closer and get closer to each other. Am I old? Bai Yin sighed. Old, really old. I even use my granddaughter as a tool for profit. Alas, I am old. A genius with super comprehension appeared in the school and stirred up the wind and clouds. Su Yin still didn't know that his progress had attracted the attention of all the big and small forces in the whole Huaxia city. The 7th floor is not difficult at all. Will the 8th floor reward me with a peerless beauty? Su Yan's heart skipped a beat, and his eyes looked at the beautiful woman. She was graceful and elegant, with undulating curves, beautiful appearance, full and exquisite, and her hazy eyes were rippling with waves that made people's heart tremble. Su Yan looked at her a few more times, and suddenly he became serious. It was impossible for there to be other people in the trial tower, but who was this person? Or a puppet? If it really was a puppet, then it was truly too terrifying. It could be said to be a miraculous method of the Creator. He wondered if it was because he had activated the core inheritance. Only a female gatekeeper with peerless beauty had arrived. Congratulations, Challenger, for making it here. The silver-robed woman's alluring red lips parted slightly. With a dignified demeanor, she said softly, "The test is simple. You have 3 days to defeat me. You are not allowed to use any skills. You can only rely on the first chapter of the Mystic Gates Array, Dao, to defeat me." Su Yan's face was full of astonishment. Let him fight with this delicate beauty? Buzz! Suddenly, the silver-robed woman's body rippled with thousands of formation marks that revolved around the layers of vacuum. Strands after strands of formation marks crisscrossed in space like silk threads. Su Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. He stood on the spot, and after a moment of silence, he suddenly charged forward, his head of black hair fluttering behind his head. Su Yin was as fast as lightning, the divine energy in his body boiling. As Su Yan's aura climbed to the peak, his 2 palms suddenly stretched out, bursting with formation marks. The moment they combined together, the heavenly wind danced. "Open!" Su Yin shouted. This attack was the essence of the first chapter of the Mystic Gates Array Dao that he had comprehended. However, when it blasted out, Su Yin was stunned. The thousands of formation marks that the silver-robed woman had created, when intertwined with each other and revolved, simply evolved into a furnace of heaven and earth. As it rumbled and revolved, it emitted an extremely powerful aura that could shatter heaven and earth. The power that Su Yin had unleashed dissipated like smoke under this kind of power. Su Yin was silent. The first chapter of the Mystic Gates Array Dao, the shallow formation marks, could also be considered a kind of remarkable martial arts technique. After all, it was the power of the human body and not the power of heaven and earth. But the silver-robed woman had used the same strength as him to create such a shocking array. He felt that even an expert at the second layer of the life spring stage would be at risk of being trapped and killed by such a power. Su Yin sat cross-legged on the ground, looking at the silent, graceful, and elegant silver-robed woman. "I'll deal with you later." Su Yin closed his eyes, visualizing the universe, visualizing the body, and visualizing the first chapter of the Mystic Gates Array Dao. Su Yan's mind was like a super calculator, constantly deducing things about the Mystic Gates Array Dao. The power that the silver-robed woman had erupted with just now must have been the formation marks of the first chapter of the Mystic Gates Array Tao. That was why it was so powerful. His sea of consciousness was no longer dark, as if there were thousands of lightning bolts streaking across. He was constantly deducing the Mystic Gates Array Tao. The silver-robed woman's power had given him great inspiration. A newcomer has reached the 7th level. Jiang Wuhan finished swallowing the sun god essence. When he heard Tao Tianhua mention this, he said calmly, "What's there to praise? Those below the 8th level are mediocre. Only on the 9th level is the true legacy." Tao Tianhua was embarrassed. Even he couldn't pass the 8th level. The reason why he could become a gold student was because of his alchemy skills. Jiang Wuhan was a genius who had reached the 10th level. He knew very well that only after the 9th level of the Tower of Trials would there be extremely powerful legacies. However, to pass the 10th level was too difficult. He didn't know anyone who had passed. Half a day passed. Su Yan issued a second challenge, but it ended in failure. However, it was much better than the last time. He could barely shake the formation she had constructed. The difficulty of the test had increased by more than 1 level. There wasn't much time left for him. Again. Little girl, again. Stop fighting. Be careful, or I'll suppress you and strip you of your clothes. A day and night passed. Su Yan's miserable cries resounded throughout the Tower of Trials. His face was bruised and swollen. He fell to the ground and ate a mouthful of mud. Gulyalu. Su Yan secretly praised himself for being wise. He had brought a lot of essence liquid with him so that he could quickly recover. The silver-robed woman stood in front of him. She looked at Su Yan, her eyes faintly flashing with a human-like look. She looked at Su Yan's bruised and swollen face. However, the youth climbed up again and again. His tenacious fighting spirit caused her beautiful face to faintly flash with a charming smile. An hour later, Su Yan didn't attack. Instead, he sat down cross-legged. He concealed his spirit and qi, visualizing the universe. Within his sea of consciousness, it was pitch black. Su Yan's figure sat cross-legged within. His sea of consciousness was like an independent world, one that belonged solely to Su Yan. At this moment, his sea of consciousness shined with a dazzling brilliance. Array marks began to appear around him, revolving around Su Yan. Although he had suffered greatly over the past day and night, Su Yan's mastery of the first volume of the Mystic Arts Array, Tao, was deeply imprinted in his heart. Dozens of array marks flashed in succession. As Su Yan's calculations soared to the limit, dozens of strange array marks wove together like lightning, forming a massive 8 trigrams diagram. But when the strength of Su Yan's divine soul erupted and affected the 8 trigrams diagram, the 8 trigrams diagram seemed to give birth to a deity. It floated in the air, rumbling as it revolved. Wave after wave of momentum shot into the heavens. By the time Su Yan opened his eyes, more than a day had passed. When he launched another attack, all the divine power gushed out of his entire body. Formation marks sprayed out from his pores and gathered in the sky, interweaving into a huge phantom of the 8 trigrams. It was filled with power that could topple mountains and overturn seas. The silver-robed woman's eyes flashed with a strange look. When Su Yan pushed the 8 trigrams diagram forward, it was as if the heavens had shattered. 2 massive energies, a massive layout, and a turbulent array Tao collided. Kacha! The array marks that revolved around the silver-robed woman collapsed. "Ha, I did it!" Su Yan grinned and laughed. Before he could be happy for a while, the silver-robed woman stretched out her jade-like hand at lightning speed. Her entire palm also flashed with wisps of formation marks. The strength of the human body had recovered to the extreme, revealing the aura of a collapsing vacuum. Not good. Su Yan's expression changed. His 8 trigrams diagram had been split apart. It was difficult for him to withstand the strength of this palm strike. He hurriedly dodged. Following that, Su Yan looked as if he had seen a ghost. In the area he dodged, dense array marks spewed out from the mud layer, soaring into the sky along with the storm. What the hell is this? Su Yin complained incessantly. His heart was filled with shock. With every step the silver-robed woman took, the soles of her feet would spread with array marks. In other words, she could use array Dao to cover the entire area. This was equivalent to her invincible domain. She was even moving at an extremely fast speed, closing in on Su Yin. Su Yin was thinking that if array Dao was terrifying enough, would she be able to shrink the ground into an inch? Su Yin dodged with all his might. Fortunately, the space here was big enough. The silver-robed woman closed in on him step by step. The 8th level was about to become her world. This little girl is too ruthless. She's not giving me any time. The closer the silver-robed woman closed in, the more potential Su Yin erupted. His brain frantically calculated the mystic arts array Dao. Suffocating fluctuations rushed over. Su Yin was about to have nowhere to retreat. The extremely powerful array marks circulated in various areas, emitting an energy storm. The silver-robed woman was like a goddess who pushed the power of heaven and earth. Her palms pushed forward at the same time, bringing with them the might of a mountain torrent. She angrily pressed down on Su Yin. At this moment, Su Yin's body trembled violently. The scene of the black or faintly exploded in his mind. The scene of the 5th level's layout was exploding. Earth art killing intent, dragon serpent rising. Su Yin's eyes widened. His black hair danced wildly. At this moment, his entire body was rippling with the roar of a tiger and dragon. His feet stepped on the ground. His body was like the firmament, swallowing rivers and mountains. Boom! In an instant, the joints of Su Yan's spine flashed with resplendent array marks. From his spine to his neck, layer after layer of array marks penetrated his entire spine. It was as if they had penetrated the firmament. They rushed into his mind and erupted with the roar of a true dragon. It was an unimaginable scene. The divine power in Su Yan's body soared along with his spine, transforming into a true dragon. It interweaved with monstrous array marks and was about to penetrate the firmament. Everything was shattered the moment the true dragon rose from the ground. My kidneys are weak. I really can't explode anymore. Now, I have to write 3 chapters a day. That's 10,000 words. When I was at my peak, I wrote 3 chapters, but the word count wasn't as high. Now, 3 chapters is equivalent to 4 chapters. I have to write fast. The price is that there are typos and sentences that are not smooth. If I write 1 chapter a day, it will definitely be of high quality. Writing 2 chapters a day is relatively easier. However, I feel that 2 chapters is too little. In the future, Clear Sky will try to edit a few more times to reduce typos and sentences that are not smooth. I just flipped through the book reviews. All right, all you wanted to add more chapters. When I see your requests, Clear Sky's motivation to write will also soar to the peak. Yes, I will post more good reviews. Everyone, follow my circle and click to add me to your bookshelf, which is also your collection. This is equivalent to giving me all kinds of nourishment soup. Fellow Taoists, please move over and download vertical and horizontal novels to support me. This is the only address I have posted. The other websites are not operated by me.